Studio 180 Pros. Is it time for your IT to do a 180? Visit 180pros.com. More about them coming up in just a little bit. We're ready to rock and roll a Monday for you, everybody. We are ready to get started over here. Going to be we got a topic coming up at 6:35 that I'm like super fired up about. Okay, our good friends over at the Pelican Institute and the folks at the National Taxpayers Union teamed up to put out a report, to develop a report on what to do about powering data centers. The data centers are inevitable. They're coming. We need them. That little phone in your pocket, man, that is a crack rocket. We're all smoking it. How do you power them without breaking our backs, without breaking the backs of the average citizen? That's what they got together on. And Pete Sepp is the president of the National Taxpayers Union. Going to join us at 6:35 to talk about it. I'll give you the rest of the rundown in just a little bit, but let's start you off with top stories and trending. Baton Rouge had a slight uptick in homicides for the first half of 2026. January through June, we saw 42 this year. That's compared to 40 in the same window last year. We will have Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse on the show with us tomorrow. Get ready for another win for Susan Bourgeois' office. The Louisiana Department of Economic Development and Governor Landry are holding a press conference at 11 o'clock this morning at LED's Innovation Center to announce what they're describing as a, quote, historic economic development investment in the state of Louisiana. Groundbreaking will be held this morning for Move VBR's Perkins Road Overpass project. Work will include a multi-use trail, signage, parking, railroad crossing enhancements, lighting, bike racks, landscaping, and drainage. Work aims to strengthen the Raymond Avenue to Christian Street corridor. I'm going to take you down to Ponchatoula, a sad story over here, over in Tangipahoa Parish. A child found dead inside a hot car in Ponchatoula climbed into an unlocked vehicle himself and then couldn't get out. Those are the findings of a preliminary police investigation on Friday into the death of 3-year-old Jakari Cash James. According to the group, Kids in Car Safety, so far this year, 12 children have died inside of hot cars nationwide. A juvenile was critically injured in a shooting in the 2900 block of Jackson Avenue, emergency officials said. This shooting happened Saturday evening, and we have no other information other than the status of the victim, which is still critical. What you say, Walton?
Well, good morning, Brian. On the national scale, big news of the weekend, of course, as most people have heard by now, Senator Lindsey Graham has died, I believe, on Saturday afternoon. He was 71 years old. He passed away from an aortic dissection, his aortic valve rupture due to heart disease.
And hopefully that'll end all the conspiracy theories that popped up like immediately, because he had just come home from Ukraine, right?
I didn't see those. What were people?
Well, my algorithm might have a little tinfoil hat on it, but
okay.
No, he just come home from Ukraine, and he was like super healthy when he left. And then the original report, like the original reporting, not report, but reporting, was he suffered a sudden illness and passed. This is completely different than that.
Okay,
so
silent killer.
Yeah,
I mean that is. I think that's responsible for the most deaths of Americans, heart disease.
Oh yeah,
these days, yeah. Going into some culture news for you. If it seems like everybody is on GLP-1s these days, that is because the numbers have truly been exploding. Some numbers are out, and the percentage of Americans taking the weight loss drugs has jumped from 3% just 2 years ago to 15% today.
It's insane.
That seems high.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop on this drug. I swear. There's no way. There's just no way we're not going to learn 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like that there were some kind of negative ramifications of just losing weight for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the way it's presented, it's like there are some side effects, but they seem pretty minor, and everybody's kind of fine with it. I don't know. 15% is high, especially for
15% of it. Well, yeah, because it's 15% of the entire populace,
right?
Not
That's
just the fat people.
No, there must be some circles where it's just like everyone.
Yeah.
So we'll we'll keep our eye on that. Going across the world here, we've got some absolute nightmare fuel coming out of China right now. Some massive flooding over the weekend, leading to a snake breeding farm being overrun. So the result of that, of course, being more than 900 venomous snakes, including mini cobras, floating their way into a small village.
So shout out to associate producer Stu on this one.
Oh my!
He's associate producer Stu is the one that sent this one my way. If you haven't seen the video, I highly recommend not seeing the video because if you got any kind of qualms about snakes, look, we've had snake ID people in here. I've held snakes in the studio before. Completely beyond my nature to do that. But if you haven't seen this video, it is like literally, like you said, it's the stuff that nightmares are made of. Cobras poking their heads out of floating water and just like swimming on down. Oh, it's just it, and it like in the masses of what, like you said, 900 of them. Imagine all of them,
about
like
900 snakes.
Yeah, put about 400 of them together on like one floating raft. Oh, it's just it's horrific on so many levels.
No, I can't sit still anymore.
No,
awful.
You keep it.
Oh, snake farm.
Yeah,
just sounds nasty.
And that's the thing, though. There's a place that was breeding venomous snakes in China. Breeding the venomous snakes in China.
I guess. There's
either
a market for that, or I do
know
what you want. Do what you want.
No, don't do what you want. That's what you do this.
I'm like,
we thought
there must be a reason.
We've got the invasive python population over there in Florida that's eating out the Everglades, right? Well, I mean, this is a million times worse. Could you imagine?
Is it like as pets, or like is it like? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. What is it for? Anti-venom? Type of lab thing?
You know what? You might have a point there.
I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Until I know, I guess some things I can't say. But
farm,
it just sounds nasty.
Yeah, it does.
Pretty much is.
We're at 612 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hey, before we take our first break, let me remind you about the good folks over at 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website. 330-2200 is the phone number. Hey, if you walk into the office this morning and you realize that all the power outages over the weekend caused your network problems, you might want to give 180 Pros a call. If your current IT provider is not responsive to your calls about your network going down with the power outages over the weekend, you might want to give 180 Pros a shout. They're not your IT provider. They're your IT partner. And we are in that time of year, y'all, because we saw it over the weekend. In fact, we walked into it over here this morning, rebooting everything. Well, if your IT partner takes your network as seriously as you do, if they base their success off of your success, they'll get you back up and running in no time. Give them a call at 330-2200 or visit them online at 180pros.com. In the bottom corner?
Setting thing,
yeah.
The little gears. You press exit application, and then you restart it by pressing. There's only like 3 icons on this desktop. One of them has like a picture that says like on air. Like it looks like a little on air.
Okay, yeah.
Just click that one, and it takes pretty damn long to reload, but it reloaded and it let me pull it by my fixes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if that doesn't work, then you really call it. But that's what you want to do in that work first try.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Where do you whenever it's these sharks cuts that you pull through, or like the QR code ones, where do you get it? That's also from Louisiana Radio?
Yeah, but from a different part of it, something that you're not going to see on a day-to-day basis. I get all the emails from them. So it's just easier for me to pull them, label them for you, and move forward. Yeah. We got to figure out what to do at 8:15. Oh, also, Moral Dilemma Monday. I need to pull up a Moral Dilemma Monday and print it for you, so you can at least get a chance to peruse it ahead of time. Come on. You know what? It's a very simple question. For Moral Dilemma Monday, I'm not going to print out any articles. Is there ever a time to celebrate someone's death on social media? Lindsey Graham dies. If you're a political opponent of Lindsey Graham, you're like, good riddance, and he's gone. If that's you, are you part of the problem? And if that goes to both sides of the aisle, because both sides of the aisle die. I think we're just going to use cut 16. We might use more, but we'll see how quickly the segment goes.
All right, I got them all.
616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is sports time. It was the Major League Baseball draft over the weekend, and you heard an LSU Tiger be pulled off the board very, very early. The Pittsburgh Pirates took LSU's All-American outfielder Derek Curiel with the 5th overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. Curiel had 2 great seasons right here at LSU. The California native says he would not be where he is now if it were not for Jay Johnson and the Tigers coaching staff. Cut 16.
The last 2 years at LSU have been a dream, and now that it's over, I'm always going to remember the great times I had there and the development I had as a person and as a player. So very grateful and forever in debt to LSU.
We'll get back to Curiel in just a minute. By the way, shout out to our friends at Louisiana, our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network for the audio. We'll get back to Curiel in just a second. I wanted to run you through everyone who was drafted from LSU. So you had Curiel come off at number 5. Outfielder Jake Brown, in spite of his injury at the end of the season, he was the 64th overall pick to Seattle. He's got so Curiel is going to be gone. He's got a slot value of $8.3 million, which means he's not coming back. Jake Brown, $1.38 million, probably gone as well. And we need to get somebody on from 104.5 to break down the likelihood of who's leaving and who's not, but we'll work on it. Devin Sheeran went number 128 overall to Philadelphia. That's a slot value of $597,000. Grant Fontenot, number 299 overall to Kansas City at $195,000 slot value. Santiago Garcia was number 372 overall to Toronto. Connor Bench, 385 overall to Miami. Gavin Guidry went number 480 to the Mets. And Zach Cowan was number 573 to Cleveland. Meanwhile, it's not just about current Tigers that get drafted. That you got to keep one eye on the signing class as well. And according to LouisianaSports.net, which, by the way, just covered this like a beast. So, I mean, they were just sitting there watching and plugging away. It's great. You can go about your weekend like it wasn't even happening, and LouisianaSports.net was on the case for you. So they're just so great to follow in real time. All right. Logan Schmidt, left-handed pitcher, was part of the signing class. He went number 59 overall to Cleveland. Jensen Hirschkorn, a right-handed pitcher, went number 84 overall to Atlanta. Wesley Roberson, an outfielder, went number 115 overall to Miami. Dylan, was that Blomker? Yep. Another right-handed pitcher was 159 to Chicago Cubs. You had Spencer Evans, another left-handed pitcher, go number 318. That was the 11th round to Pittsburgh. Will Adams, another left-handed pitcher, also a first baseman, number 336 overall to Detroit. Anthony Murphy, an outfielder, went number 466 overall to Washington. Outfielder Malachi Washington was number 528 overall to Pittsburgh. And Dominic Santarelli, first baseman and outfielder, was number 550 overall to Seattle. Back up to the top of the page, though, kind of cool with Derek Curiel that going to the Pirates, one of the fun things about following Tigers in the pros is when you see, former teammates become teammates again. Well, nope, sorry. Skeens and Curiel would have missed each other by 2 years. But anyway, he'll be starting off in high A ball, but I would imagine he's going to rise up the ranks pretty quickly and be playing with another former Tiger in Paul Skeens. For that matter, go back to who was it got drafted by Seattle? Jake Brown. Moving over to Seattle to team up with some former Tigers as well. All right, we got to hit the Fox Business Report at 6:20. Huh? Nah, I'm fine. No, you give me 1 minute, and 1 minute's normally enough for me. 10 seconds is another good one, but the thorns. Yeah. How much longer do we have this break?
Not that long, like 25. That's the snakes?
Yeah.
They made a raft. Oh my god.
All intertwined and whatnot.
No way. That's horrifying.
Right?
That's horrifying. Like a boat of snakes. No.
And then once they get into the city, once they get into the village, just like,
It's like a military assault.
yeah. All right, let's head on back to the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center, see what we got cooking this morning. Normally, your Monday mornings are slow going. That is not so much the case this morning. Ray's probably going to have more details for you coming up in a little bit as to the root cause of this, but we're looking at some pretty serious delays right now on I-10 westbound from the 1012 merge all the way up through the lake. So you're going to hit your brakes around the merge, stay on your brakes until you get past Acadian Thruway. Between Acadian Thruway and Perkins is where you're going to get up to the front of that one. I'm not showing the cause of it. It's not on the board just yet, but we are seeing serious delays right there as a result of well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say as a result of, trying to find out what is a result of, but you nonetheless are going to be on your brakes I-10 westbound throughout from, like I said, from the split all the way through the lakes. Now, backing things up a little bit, I-12 coming in from Livingston Parish looks great. Starting back by Denham Springs, we're good to go. I-10 westbound coming in from Prairieville. We actually are seeing some slowdowns on 10 westbound. Not really slowdowns as much as just congestion, but it's going to start way back by before the Highland Road exit. It starts back before the Highland Road exit. And then continues all the way up through Segan Lane. You're going to see some slowdowns on 10 westbound coming in. That's unusual for this time of morning, but it is out there. 10 eastbound coming back in from West Baton Rouge looks great. Surface streets, I'm not showing any accidents to report at this time. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to talk with Pete Sepp. Pete is the president of the National Taxpayers Union. I'm so much looking forward to talking about data centers. Who's paying for them? Who's picking up the tab especially when it comes to the energy that they have to create. The National Taxpayers Union and the Pelican Institute teamed up to put out a report that talks about it, and we will talk to Pete coming up in just a little bit. Right now, though, if I can sift through enough paper over here, big old stack for show prep today, y'all. We got a lot to cover. Along with Pete Sepp, in our 7 o'clock hour, 7:15, we will have Medical Monday coming your way. 7:35, Will Green from LABI stops by. Quick programming note. Normally we have Moon Griffon on with us in the 8 o'clock hour on Mondays. We talk about everything under the sun with Moon. Last minute cancellation. Moon is not going to be here this morning. So we'll pivot in that segment. And then we got the BREC Room coming your way at 8:35. Maurice Velasquez from BREC is going to be coming by for that segment. Right now, though, how about a little shark alligator rule story for you as we take you to the Gulf of America? Apparently, it's getting bad out there when it comes to sharks. The Gulf is seeing an increase in its shark population. Dr. Dean Grubbs, Associate Director of Research at the Florida State University Coastal and Marine Laboratory, says while some species continue to decline in population, others are recovering due to warming water temperatures. Cut one. You're all right.
We're starting to see one of the reasons we're starting to see more and more bull sharks close in and up here has to do with the fact that one of the byproducts of having warming temperatures is it's better habitat in some of the estuaries for bull sharks.
Well, the other part of that is, and yeah, the warmer temperatures is going to be a part of it, and I'm not disputing that at all, but feeding ground as well. Everything else has got to be healthy for the sharks to be able to hunt, right? So Dr. Grubbs says while shark populations are in bad shape in most of the world, it's quite a different story in the U.S. with the country starting to manage shark populations. We actually started this back in 1993. Cut two.
We have over 30 years now of managing the populations with catch quotas, catch limits, size limits, and those kinds of things. And now we're seeing the rewards of that with the populations recovering.
I mean, so like I said, we have a shark alligator rule on the show. If there's a shark story or an alligator story, we do our level best to report it every single time. And one of the reasons for that is because of the boom in the alligator population. And listening to this, I can't help but think of a parallel here, because what we've done with alligators over the last 30 plus years has been nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, they weren't endangered, but they were on the brink of. Now, we're running through catch quotas and whatnot. We're limiting the number of sharks that we've been taking out, air quote, as people. Haven't been actively breeding them, thank God. But we've already seen what we can do as a people when we put our mind to it. I mean, hell, just drive down I-10 to New Orleans and see how many different alligators got hit by an 18-wheeler somewhere along the way. Just because they're out there. They're everywhere. Same thing with the rule on the show. We report on it regularly because it happens regularly. Because we've done something about the population. So, I mean, the same would be true out in the open water. Now, with an increase in the population comes an increase in the likelihood of a beachgoer encountering a shark. Grubbs points out, however, that sharks aren't the only ones increasing in number. Cut three.
As the populations recover, we have more sharks coming in closer and along the beaches, but we also have a lot more people on the beaches than we did 30 years ago.
Okay. I mean, it feels like one is growing at a disproportionate rate, to be sure. Grubbs says if you encounter a shark, the best thing to do is not to panic as you make your way back to the beach, because these species which populate the Gulf want nothing to do with humans, just as humans want nothing to do with sharks. Yeah, maybe. But if we want to feel around for something, we can use our hands. They can only use their teeth. I mean, whether they mean ill intent or not, it's the net result is the same. So, but and this isn't the first we're hearing of this. Kevin Ford's Let's Go Fishing Thursday nights on Talk 107.3 FM. This has been a regular occurrence with some of his charter boat captains that he talks to. Is they're out there. And it's not just the bull sharks either. The Gulf is full of just about every kind out there. We're coming up on 6:30 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Give me one quick second to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's Market. The deal of the week still going on this week. You get yourself a dozen Food Club large eggs for just 49 cents. Now, in order to take advantage of the deal of the week, you need the app. You download the app, you clip the deal, and then when you go to check out, it brings it up for you. But you got to clip the deal. They're not trying to pull a fast one on you here. It's a stack of coupons every single week, and of course, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop with the Mathern's Rewards app at Mathern's. Oh. Who's Shelby? All right. Kill my mic, please.
I gotta press the +1 first.
Yeah.
Hello, Talk 1073. Hey there. We've got your segment coming up in just a few moments. Let's see, looks like about 4 or 5 minutes right now. When we get through this break, Brian will put you on there. You all good? Yeah, you sound great, man. All right. All right, he is on hold.
Joshua Dutch, not even right this morning.
I drove past that and actually, dude,
It was an accident?
dude, there's a car on its back upside down.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, I was coming down there and man, all the emergency vehicles passed right behind us. Like everybody had to
Oh, wow.
all the emergency vehicles were just getting there right as we were passing. We were maybe
All right. As a heads up, when you're coming in the morning, check a map before you get on the interstate. Because once you're stuck, you're stuck. So just not Bree Lynn, but my previous producer, JP, the number of times he was an hour late for the show because he was like, I mean, it was like monthly. It got to be like, dude, look at your phone first. So, but if you wouldn't mind, as the week wears on. But you said the car was flipped over? Okay. Good night. Industrymakes.org is the website. Industrymakes.org. What is Industry Makes? Well, right from their website, they list this out. Our mission is to be a trusted source of industrial communications while advocating for future investment and industrial growth that is the backbone of Louisiana. Look, go up and down the river. We know it's the backbone of Louisiana, like literally and figuratively. Louisiana's manufacturing sector cannot sit on the sidelines while others tell their story. Industry Makes is here to tell a story. So let everyone else make noise. We'll make everything else. Learn more at industrymakes.org. At 6:37 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Our good friends over at the Pelican Institute teamed up with the National Taxpayers Union to work on a report about best way to move forward when it comes to data centers being built. It's going to be our top story of the morning with Meta's big announcement for today. So let's dive in and find out about this report. From the National Taxpayers Union, we've got their president. That would be Pete Sepp on the hotline with us. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Not glad to have you on here. I don't know why y'all would want to team up with Daniel Erspamer and his reckless band of merry men, but we'll get into that another time. No, he's a good guy. Good friend, Daniel. Let's start off with we'll start off with the report, like what it actually says, and then how we came about to these conclusions. So tell me what your report says.
The report concludes that Louisiana has a lot of natural and policy-based advantages that can make the state part of this great information age revolution. This is the industrial revolution of our century. We can be a part of it. We can prosper from it. We can have smart policies that help to protect residential ratepayers from all kinds of potential problems, but we've got to be thoughtful about it. And Louisiana, as the study shows, is, well, contradictory in many cases. You know, I've seen this in Missouri, I've seen this in Maine, I've seen this in other states where you have New Orleans, for example, declaring a total moratorium on data centers. But then you've got places like Richland Parish, where Meta is undergoing a huge data center campus expansion. You know, these are the decisions that localities are making within a state that could determine their future and their people's well-being for decades to come. And things like consumer-regulated electricity, reasonable taxes, reasonable regulations are the way forward to that kind of prosperity.
Expound upon consumer-regulated electricity or energy. What is it?
It's a very simple concept that instead of having these so-called hyperscalers, industrial users of energy, and they need a lot of it, instead of having them plug into an existing grid with residential ratepayers, just build a whole grid that's run by another private company to supply these industrial users. Another concept that's kind of a close cousin of this is behind the meter power. A hyperscaler, an industrial user, just builds their own power plant and runs it. Now, these are really complementary concepts because it might be more efficient to just have a privately run grid that serves 3 or 4 big users instead of the big user actually building their own power plant. But they can work together. And the point is, there doesn't have to be some awful negative impact on residential electricity rates. In fact, the studies show, this is like the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, the big electricity annual consumption study that everybody looks for. It's showing that areas that have the highest demand, the biggest load growth, are actually experiencing declines in energy prices. The reason there is that big users like data centers, factories, what have you, they are willing to pay big money to get power up and running quickly. That means they're financing long neglected investments in power grids that residential users were going to get stuck with at some point or another.
Pete Sepp, president of the National Taxpayers Union, is our guest. We're talking about how to power the data centers, and I know I'm oversimplifying here, Pete, but what's being recommended is kind of a DIY approach, if you will. Break that down for me in terms of like how scalable or how frequently can this be used, and what sort of regulation would go into making sure that like a Meta or a Sun 8 or I'm sorry, Hut 8 or and those are just 2 examples in Louisiana, that they would be doing so, and I'm sure those 2 will. But as these continue to pop up, that this power would be generated safely and effectively, as opposed to having, a bunch of pop-up spots that are kind of fly by night.
Well, first of all, they can be used almost anywhere. You don't necessarily have to be an energy-rich state, but it certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania, of course, which has an abundance of natural gas, they're actually restarting a nuclear reactor to help power data centers. Texas, they've got widely distributed energy. They're looking at small nuclear reactors. Places like Washington State, hydropower. So it means using whatever assets you have and either building a private grid with those energy assets or deploying them directly. What does that take? Sometimes simple regulatory reform. In many parts of the country, factories are not permitted to build their own power source and run it. In some parts of the country, even privately run networks have to get permission from a large utility board, as well as whoever is already operating a grid there, to start up their own grid. Well, if you have regulations like that, you know what's going to happen. Years of red tape.
Yeah.
So that's where you start with the regulatory reform, and you make sure that the permitting process is one and done. There are many, many agencies, federal, state, and local, that can get involved in environmental siting, power siting, whatever. And it can take years and dozens of them in being involved before you can actually get an answer. That's got to be sped up. Sometimes the answer is going to be no, but the point is to get that answer more quickly.
When you bring up the regulatory side, and we have a public service commission here in Louisiana that would have say over this, but when you bring up the regulatory side, would the question of how they choose to generate power come up? You mentioned, a nuclear reactor coming back online. We have a number of different resources here in Louisiana that we could tap into as well. But does the how come into play in this as well? Like if a state were to say, we need you to generate your own electricity, but you can't use coal. Like, is that part of the equation?
It can be part of the equation. And if governments and public utility commissions and whatnot want to set those kinds of goals, okay, but they have to do it carefully. There's a counterpart to Pelican Institute in Pennsylvania, Commonwealth Foundation. They recently released a study with us, and there they entered what was called the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which wiped out Pennsylvania coal-generated electricity and severely limited natural gas-generated electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're going with restarting nuclear reactors, but limiting yourself to only a few sources of energy can be very, very difficult to put together a grid with. You know, if it's only wind and solar with
Right.
only a little natural gas, you're really selling yourself short. So you got to weigh both the environmental concerns and the economic concerns and come up with a balanced answer.
Well, that's actually where I was going with that. When I mentioned coal, but it's the polar opposite of where I was going, is because, you know, you look at the Venn diagram of the tech companies that would be building these data centers and environmentalists. That Venn diagram is basically one circle. So my concern would be them putting all their eggs into an alternative energy basket that isn't going to pay off for them.
Yeah, we saw that here with the heat wave on the East Coast, Virginia and Maryland. They actually had to restart oil-fired generators to meet the demand because when the heat dome hit us,
Yep.
the wind stopped blowing. That was all the wind-generated electricity gone. Yeah, oops, indeed. We were very, very close to an East Coast blackout.
Unreal. He is Pete Sepp with the National Taxpayers Union. Man, I appreciate a little insight this morning. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. We're coming up on 647 at Talk 107.3 FM. Quick break. We got Moral Dilemma Monday next. Well, I was worried about that. Now I'm wondering if I didn't just free up a big chunk of my day. This meta story that led in the news. This is what this morning's press conference is about. And I was going to the press conference thinking there was going to be news, but now for tomorrow morning, the news is going to be a day old. So I'm still going to go. I don't know. The Louisiana Innovation Center. It's on River Road, right by the state capitol. No, not by the bridge. You're talking about the Water Institute, the Water Campus. That's on the other side of the bridge. Go to the state capitol. If you're walking out of the front of the state capitol, look to your right, and it looks like a welcome center. In fact, it used to be a welcome center. Economic development kind of took it over and turned it into the innovation center. It's a really cool building. 11. I get a press release from the Economic Development Department. I'm on, yeah.
Can anyone go?
I think so. I don't know. I believe so. That's what everybody else is reporting on. 652 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Going to get you to Moral Dilemma Monday here in just a quick second, but I do need to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions. GuaranteeHealth.com is the website, GuaranteeHealth.com. If you own or manage a medical office of any kind, what do you talk about? An urgent care, primary care, a dentist's office, a pediatrician's office, any kind of specialty office, or full-on hospital. How's your bedside manner? How's your patient relationships working out? Is that top priority for you right now? And do you know how to utilize that within your marketing strategy? This is GuaranteeHealth.com. It's Rachel Fricke is the one who created it, founded it. She runs it, and I can tell you, it was born out of necessity, basically. Going through a personal tragedy in her life, she couldn't help but notice just how sterile and transactional all of it was. The medical process. I mean, you got someone in your family who's going through the worst time in their life, and it's all about billing, and it's all about get you out of the hospital as quick as possible. Just all the worst parts of the medical experience that you've heard about. Well, she's found a better way. Visit GuaranteeHealth.com to learn more. Get your front of office and back of office working together to grow your office. GuaranteeHealth.com. All right, time for Moral Dilemma Monday. Let's hit it. Is it there? Nah, no worries. No worries. Go ahead. You what? Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no worries. All right. We got Wilton pinch hitting for Bree Lynn this morning. But Moral Dilemma Monday does roll on. So here's the question this morning. We're going to keep it topical, keep it news cycle related. Senator Lindsey Graham dies at the age of 71 years old. An aortic rupture is what killed him. Per Fox News, media pundits and commentators across the political aisle posted blunt reactions online Sunday to the death of Senator Lindsey Graham, hours after his office announced that the 71-year-old lawmaker died Saturday evening following a brief and sudden illness. Co-host of the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, responded to the announcement with the words, "Good riddance." And I'm not going to go into reading a bunch of the different comments, a bunch of the different posts, but you get it, right? These were plentiful, to say the least. And the truth of the matter is, we see it every time someone passes or goes in the hospital or whatever. And I've got to ask the question is there any room for that within society? Is there any room for that level of just hatred and vitriol? And quite honestly, isn't it more telling of the person who's posting than it is of the person they're posting about? Like the intro says, no right answers, no wrong answers. Wilton, what's your takeaway?
So I don't think there should be. Okay, you're right that it is like very telling about the person who's saying that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so is it? I don't think that it should be necessarily like regulated or not allowed.
Oh God, no! Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
I think you should be given enough rope to hang yourself with, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Very good take. Yeah, because you're right. You give yourself enough rope to hang yourself, because once you start regulating it, once you start writing laws about that, you walk down a very slippery slope of losing the First Amendment across the board.
Of course. And then, and you know, obviously, like you give, you know, censors and regulators more rights to do that, it's gonna go bad. It's gonna go bad eventually. Like as soon as, you know, the regulators decide they want to take that power further, I guess. So that's, I think most people would probably agree on that. It's like, would it have been better if she said, okay, hopefully there's a special election and the person we get in is more on my side, or more like, you know what I mean? Like, would it have been better if she wasn't so gross about it, or whoever says, whoever's saying whatever they're saying, is it, I don't know. I just feel like, just let people have their moment. You know what I mean? Like, just if you're on the side that's benefiting, quote unquote, right, from somebody passing away,
right. Well, yeah, but
just keep quiet, I feel.
So here's the part of that, though, and it is two parts as far as I'm concerned. There's two parts to that, which I love where you're taking the discussion, by the way. Part one is the populace that elected Lindsey Graham is more than likely going to elect someone who's kind of like Lindsey Graham.
Most likely, of course.
So I don't see that there's a quote unquote benefit.
Like a win.
Right. You don't have a win in death. Okay. The other part of this is, and we get dangerously close to quoting Dave Chappelle, but that would lead to an FCC fine. Where Dave Chappelle says, or, and this might be controversial, but shut up. I mean, you don't have to post.
Right.
There's no law requiring you sound off on somebody's death. So you could just shut up and not just be. I grew up under the belief of if you don't have something nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all. And that should count doubly for death.
See, I grew up under this was all kind of new. So we had lectures in our school in elementary and middle school of like everything you post is public and permanent. Everything you post is public and permanent. Don't do it. So like and like employers are going to look at it. I guess if you're like famous and you're already a talking head, then it's kind of maybe it's the kind of the business you're in, which is kind of that's just kind of sad about like the way that politics is these days.
True. Yeah.
So it's kind of the business you're in already, I guess, and you're not worried about public and permanent. But me, it's like saying something like that seems so. I would never do it because my employers are going to look at that, you know what I mean? That's just how I was always grown up, and maybe I was even too paranoid about it.
I don't know if you can be too paranoid about it because it's like you said, it is permanent. I mean, it is out. Even if you deleted, someone else has screenshotted it,
right?
And I'm of the belief that there's also let me stop. There's also the belief out there, and a number of people are on board with this, and I'm the polar opposite. But a number of people believe, well, I have a platform, therefore I have a responsibility to remain true to my platform and inform that's such dog.
Like you don't have to say something about everything.
Right. And you're not so important that if you just don't show up one day, the world is going to miss you. They're not. Show back up and talk about something positive the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a whole part of this that we haven't even gotten to yet. I know we've only got 15 seconds. But there's one thing to post good riddance. It's another thing to post good riddance, and I hope Donald Trump is next. Because now you're opening up that slippery slope of where the Secret Service can turn around and look at you. I knew I was going to get caught by the clock on that one. But, great, very good job. We covered a lot of that. ABC News. No worries. You run the risk of, and I have a friend who has been accused of threatening someone's life before, threatening a state legislator's life before. He meant no harm by it, but I have a friend who actually left a voicemail for a state legislator that said the world will be a better place when we put you in the ground. Now, I would take that as a personal threat on my life. He didn't say it'd be better when you're dead. He said when we put you in the ground, like first person active, right? He was investigated, exonerated. That's cool, whatever. But like when you open the door to allow the authorities to be authoritative, that's on you. And if you're saying good riddance to Lindsey Graham, let's hope Donald Trump is next. Okay, now you're wishing death upon the president. Are you wishing murder upon the president? Like you start to that's a Pandora's box that makes it difficult to close.
I just started rereading this weekend. You ever read? Probably have actually read Pelican Brief.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, they killed the Supreme Court justices, dude, and I was surprised by how much, like the chief of staff of the president is very conniving and like snaky, right? But the president himself is like, I think he's played kind of dumb. Like I think that they're making him like kind of making fun of George W. Bush. Well, maybe not this way.
It was before George W. Yeah,
it was like early 90s. But they're just making him seem like he's like constantly hitting golf in his office and stuff. But he's
more of a Gerald Ford character.
Okay, he's still like all the time going like, oh, like I'm glad that son of a bitch is dead. Like, and it's just in his office, he's not posting it.
Right.
But it's like they're nasty about it. And a lot of people are in that book. And it's treated like both of the justices that are killed are treated very different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was kind of thinking about that kind of stuff this week. And I'm like, okay, he was your enemy. Are we glad he's dead? That's kind of part of the. It's like that's also kind of part of the job when he's like, when it's the Supreme Court justice and it's the appointment for life. Like even the guy Rosenberg who's killed says, like, oh my God, I literally love to die, but he's like hooked up to the brake machine. He's like, I can't die until we get a more liberal president because I can't like get my seat taken, like my beloved.
I forgot how much his storyline was downplayed in the movie.
Yeah.
Hang on, you got 9 seconds and then you got to bail.
Wait, what do you mean?
You're killing ABC News. 2, 1, kill ABC and go. There you go. Yeah, that storyline is way bigger in the book than it is the movie.
Looks good.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've ever disliked the John Grisham book.
This is actually my first John Grisham book. I think I've seen other movies of his though. Did he write The Judge?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wait. Who wrote The Verdict? The Verdict or The Judge?
The Judge. With the family where like the judges.
No, that's James Patterson.
Is that press club lunch that you were talking about? Is that today?
Mm-hmm. I'm not going.
What time is that?
Noon.
Yeah, the movie was mostly just about like the brief and then chasing her.
Yeah. And see, when I was growing up, you know the scene in the outside the river walk when the gunshots go off, like somebody shooting at her.
Yeah.
Everybody knew somebody who was in that scene, and every time you watch the movie, you try to find your friend. Yeah. 7:05. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Wilton producing. Got a busy hour this hour. We will be talking with our good friends over at the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry at 7:35 about some possible missed opportunities during the most recent legislative session. We will also be talking with our friends at Our Lady of the Lake for Medical Monday. That's coming up at 7:15. Right now, though, we start off your second hour. By the way, we're at 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. It is time for Top Stories and Trending. Let's go. There's no nice way to tell this story. There's no polite or sanitized way to tell this story, but it's been more than a month since Jadarius Manyweather disappeared from the ghost town area of Baton Rouge. Since then, his family, law enforcement, and the United Cajun Navy has searched through wooded areas and near waterways trying to find him. Today, they're going into a landfill. Today begins the landfill search for him. The Mayor President Sid Edwards and BRPD announced the evidence collected led them to believe Merriweather's body might be located in the North landfill. The last few days, they've been working on logistics to get the search done and underway. Police say the evidence shows that his body might have been dumped into a dumpster and then ended up in the North landfill. And well, that search begins now. Baton Rouge had a slight uptick in homicides for the first half of 2026. January through June, we saw 42 this year. That's compared to 40 in the same window last year. By the way, to talk about that last story and this story, Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse slated to join us tomorrow morning. Groundbreaking will be held this morning for Move EBR's Perkins Road Overpass project. The work will include a multi-use trail, signage, parking, railroad crossing enhancements, lighting, bike racks, landscaping, and drainage. Work aims to strengthen the Raymond Avenue to Christian Street corridor. A juvenile was critically injured in a shooting in the 2900 block of Jackson Avenue on Saturday evening, and that is literally all the information we have on the story, is that the juvenile does remain in critical condition. Get ready for another win from Susan Bourgeois' office. The Louisiana Department of Economic Development and Governor Landry are holding a press conference at 11 o'clock this morning at LED's Innovation Center. So the press release that came out on Friday said they were describing it as a historic economic development investment in Louisiana. As we've learned this morning, this is Meta putting a whole lot more money and resources into the data center. What you got, Wilton?
Well, the big news this weekend is that Senator Lindsey Graham passed away. He died from an aortic dissection. His aortic valve collapsed due to heart disease. Senator was 71 years old when he passed.
I mean, I did not see that coming. If you had told me Lindsey Graham was dying before Mitch McConnell did, that would have shocked just about everybody.
My thoughts, exactly, actually.
Oh, he had a fall a couple weeks ago too, and was in the hospital. There were pictures of him from a hospital bed. Weirdly, he was in a hospital bed like his regular clothes. That was strange. But pictures of McConnell from a hospital bed yesterday as well.
If it seems like everyone is on GLP-1 medication these days, that is because the numbers are absolutely exploding across America. The percentage of Americans taking the weight loss drugs has now jumped from 3% just 2 years ago to 15% today.
Seems incredible.
Seems high.
Yeah. But I mean, everyone I know that is taking, well, I shouldn't say everyone,
because you have to inject it, right?
Yeah, there's a oral form now as well. I don't know if it's going to be as effective or whatever. But I know a number of people have taken it and they swear by it. And I just there's something that's registered in the back of my head that says don't. Just
it's weird how fast.
Right.
It's weird how fast it, like the results,
right?
It's kind of strange, but it's weird how fast it exploded.
Well, and the other part of this is how you look on the back end. I've seen the complete range between people looking good when they lose some weight and looking absolutely sickly.
I think it depends like how your fitness
right
is.
Yeah. Are you keeping up? Because you'll lose muscle along with fat all day long, so you'll just come out bones.
From what I've heard, it pretty much just is limiting like your appetite, right?
Right. It tells your brain not to eat.
Yeah.
And that's how I understand it. So,
all right. Well, this is the interesting one of our trending stories today. Absolutely insane. Out of China, we got some pictures and video. The absolute nightmare fuel coming out of there is insane. We've got a massive flooding leading to a snake breeding farm being flooded out and overrun. The snakes, over 900 venomous snakes, including many cobras, have ridden the floodwaters, floating their way into a small village. And like, if you see the pictures and videos of this, Brian, you were just showing me a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, the way they like formed into a raft,
like all intertwined and whatnot, and they formed
God.
themselves into a raft. Like just,
it's like a military invasion.
That
was crazy.
A military invasion of snakes. It is
snakes.
So nightmarish. I just look in. The good folks over at Louisiana Snake ID have been in studio before. We've talked about like what snakes are, safe, which ones are actually good for your home and whatnot. They'll eat other things. They'll eat mice, they'll eat rats, whatever. But this story specifically says venomous snakes. This story very specifically says cobras. And I didn't show you the whole video, but like there's part of the video where this guy's standing on his porch and like 3 cobras just pop their heads out of the water and just start staring at him.
Oh,
I was like, nope, that's big nope.
Yeah.
Burn it down, burn it all to the ground.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. I mean, I'm imagining like the stress of flood waters coming into your house, all your neighbors flooded. What do we do?
Right.
And then you're like under attack by an army
a
of
big
snakes.
old nope rope coming your way.
Oh my God.
712 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We got Medical Monday coming up in a little bit. Before we take our break, though, I want to remind you about the folks over at ExxonMobil. Like, you need me to remind you about ExxonMobil. I mean, they've been in our backyard for 115 years. 115 years, been part of, well, grab line one. 115 years, been part of Baton Rouge's economy, been part of Baton Rouge's community, standing at the intersection of energy and opportunity. Generations of families have built careers over at Exxon. And you know how they've done it here. I mean, built off of innovation, built off of safety, built off of long-term commitment to our area. Well, ExxonMobil has taken their experience of the first 115 years, and they're now looking towards the second 115 years. And part of that is going to involve carbon capture, usage, and storage. CCS, everyone likes to call it. CCS. Well, if you want to learn more about what their plans are on that front, if you want to learn more about where they're taking this into the future, and they're not getting away from what they've always done. That will always be the bread and butter. But CCS will be folded into this. If you want to learn more about what they're doing, visit their website, aboutlaccs.com. Aboutlaccs.com. Quick break. Medical Mondays coming your way next. All right, cool. Oh, shit. Excuse me. Shelby.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Finally, some good news. Westbound I-10, all lanes are back open from an accident.
Oh, crappers.
There for most of the morning. We're still looking at a 35-minute drive time from Iowa Road up to the new bridge. Eastbound I-10 traffic over the bridge is clear, but into Sorrento, you've got a 2-mile backup due to an accident just before the Sorrento exit.
Shelby Dunbar.
I'm Josh Woodtouch.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life from the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core, so you can work from anywhere. Now from $699 with exclusive student pricing from $599. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Buying or selling a new home? Mid-City Title makes it easy. Local closings, expert services, midcitytitle.com.
There is a Medical Monday open as well. So I'll toss to it. 7:15 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got Shelby Dunbar from LAB. I believe it's Shelby this morning. I'm going to be hopping on with us at 7:35. Right now, though, it is time to team up with our good friends over at Our Lady of the Lake. It's time for Medical Monday. As we do on a Monday, we talk with our good friends over at Our Lady of the Lake. This morning, we're talking about something every parent thinks about, how to build healthier habits for their kids in a way that actually sticks. From nutrition to staying active, the small choices can make a big impact long-term. Joining us is April Hamilton, a nurse from FMOL Health, from Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health, to share how Wellness Wednesdays are helping families take that first step. Good morning, April. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you?
No, I'm doing well. So I guess we're going to talk about Wellness Wednesday on a Medical Monday. So tell us all about it. Give us the overview.
Okay, excellent. Yes, we have a family fitness series that is on Wednesday evenings. It's normally held at Our Lady of the Lake Children's in the pavilion or the auditorium inside the hospital. It's a fun, safe, clean space. Love it. And we've decided to open it up to the broader community. So it's not just for our patients and their families, but really anyone who wants to come jump around, learn a little bit about nutrition and other healthy habits are welcome.
So it's just the education is the goal behind this?
Yeah, education and engagement. We could hand out a flyer or something, but if we're actually doing these activities together, it's more likely to stick. It's a lot of fun, working out. I mean, it's not like a big workout, but doing the activities in community with your peers, with your family, it does help it, kind of cement in.
So talk about that, working together, doing this together. Because it is, like you said, there's a focus on families here. Why is it important to involve both kids and parents when it comes to nutrition and wellness?
Yeah, so imagine like a child, they're not the one doing the grocery shopping, per se. So we get the whole family involved. Talk about eating the rainbow, getting all your colors in with different fruits and vegetables, and not in a really preachy way, but it's just much more engaging. And that way everyone hears the same message. They can work on these things together rather than just a child, say, in the classroom at school, getting a lesson, trying to interpret that when they get home to the parents. They may be not on the same page kind of thing.
Right.
So this way, everyone hears it together. The parents can observe the kids like, wow, eating zucchini or, other, maybe something new. Last week, we did a great activity with all the parts of a plant. So you've got the root. We did carrots. So the kids were chopping up carrots. We do dispense some child-safe knives, but they chopped up carrots. The stem part was the celery. The leaf part was lettuce. You could make your little chopped up salad into a wrap. We made a little homemade dressing. There was also the flour. That was broccoli and cucumber. It doesn't have to be those things, but imagine when you call something a vegetable, we hear it all day long. My kids won't eat vegetables. Kind of makes me want to cry to hear those things, because vegetables are a beautiful food group that is so vast, but somehow they got a bad rap along the way. So these are just parts of the plant that are really delicious and, most important, so nutritious. So nourishing your body with all those vitamins and minerals naturally helps it feel like nourished and sustained longer.
We're talking with April Hamilton, registered nurse with FMO Health and Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health, talking about Wellness Wednesdays and developing healthy habits within the families. April, if you're being absolutely honest, is it tougher to flip the kids or flip the parents when it comes to adopting a new habit?
It's a mix. The parents will sometimes answer for the kids, like, he won't eat that. He doesn't do that. And then you can almost like gently take them by the hand and show that that's not really the case.
Right.
We all have our preferences, but it's, just kind of exposing them and also giving them the tools to learn how to make something that's so simple. I'll tell you what, cooking together or meal prepping together as a family is one of the most beneficial things that you can do. We're all pressed for time, but it doesn't take much longer to prepare. You meal prep on Sunday or something and make things that can be translated into future meals throughout the week. So it's quick during the week, faster than any drive-through, I promise. And then the benefits of just being nourished together as a family, sitting at the table, that's invaluable, honestly.
All right, I think you've kind of alluded to it here, but we're going to walk down that path anyway next. And that is, what are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing families face when trying to eat healthy? Is it time?
Sure. I mean, it's time. It's resources. Maybe they just don't have the tools or the knowledge sometimes, and then you can just really lead them. One of our activities that we're going to be doing on the last Wellness Wednesday of this month will be a grocery store tour at Sprouts Supermarket, which is on Perkins Road. And the folks at Sprouts have been really generous to kind of give us the reins to roam around the store in a little group and talk about things the kids can kind of have $30 air quotes to play with to get a meal in a basket, and we judge it on how did they meet the price point, did they meet the nutrient quality, etc. But it's just sharing some of those tools to help them make the healthy choice, the easy choice.
And let's talk about why it's important to do this early, especially for the kids. I mean, for the parents, it's, when you've got bad habits, it's tougher to break the bad habits. But for the kids, starting a good habit can, have long-term impacts. So what does building these habits early impact a child's long-term health? How does it?
Sure. It is the foundation. Food is the foundation. Movement is the foundation. There are studies that show preventing sugar intake, having children have no sugar intake for their first 2 years, and that includes in utero as well. It's super important for moms to nourish healthfully, and that's, you've never been pregnant, I guess, but you get these cravings. You might really want to have that donut or
wait, whoa. Just because I've never had the cravings doesn't mean I've never fetched the cravings. Okay.
So, but when you're nourishing that baby, it's important to kind of eliminate or minimize, minimize sugar intake. I'm not the food police. I'm not going to be reckless here, but just being super mindful of, you are growing a human inside you.
Right.
Hair, bones, brains, all the things. I mean, it's so important to nourish a developing baby. And then as they enter the world, same thing. You wouldn't want to put soda in their bottle or that, so forth. When my children, I have 3 grown daughters, when they were little, I would give them an empty ice cream cone, like the little kind of one that's called a cake cone. It doesn't have a lot of sugar in it, but they got to have kind of the novelty of just kind of gumming on that rather than having it filled with sweet ice cream. And listen, I love ice cream, so I'm not going to prevent anyone from having that.
I was going to let that sit there. As the visual of the empty ice cream cone is,
yes.
We'll call that tough love for right now.
It was very happy. She was like, okay, all right, because it was something different. She hadn't had that.
No, I'm with you. We got April Hamilton with us.
I'm going to lose credibility here. Sorry.
Not at all. We're talking Wellness Wednesdays. So what can families expect? Give us the visual. What does it look like?
Yeah, so we gather a team of experts at these events. We have our amazing fitness trainer, Adrian Brumfield. He is all over town and beyond doing many fitness activities, and he carves out time to be with us on Wednesdays. We have loud music going. We are bouncing around, jumping around. We'll do little stations, like, I wouldn't call it HIIT. It's not a high intensity interval training, but it's some different stations so you can learn different movements that you can do at home as a family without, going to the gym. I mean, a gym is great, but if that's not on your radar, simple activities you can do together at home. Also, just music and dancing are a great way to get moving as a family.
What is one simple tip you'd give parents listening this morning to start making healthier choices today?
You might understand that I am have a lot of things I want to share, but probably cooking together, being together in a kitchen space. It doesn't have to be a fancy kitchen space. Just giving kids a little foundation of building a meal together. It's if they have a hand in preparing the food, they will eat it. I promise. They might say, "No, I don't eat vegetables," but you get them peeling a carrot, grating a carrot, tossing it in the salad bowl. They will absolutely eat it, and you can't show your cards as a parent getting all excited, like, "Wow, he tried that," or "Oh, she ate that." You just kind of keep cool about it and enjoy the journey.
Right. And yeah, it's don't overreact because it's what's expected. It's not a
Right.
freak occurrence. It's what's expected, to be sure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'll tell you just to share from my own personal experience, taking the kids to like Fresh Pickins on Corsi, or any of the open markets like that. Let them pick the vegetables, and that's been my experience. If you let them pick the vegetables, they're more likely to eat them because hey, they picked them. So, it's and I don't need to be picky about it's got to be broccoli or it's got to be beans or whatever. It's like, hey, whatever from that category you want to throw down, we'll have fun with that.
Beautiful. I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Also, the Red Stick Farmers Market has a program.
Oh my gosh,
for
yes.
Children. The Sprout program. So it's Saturday mornings, great time to go together as a family. Let the kids use their tokens, or they can save up the tokens each time and buy something, bigger. But yes, engage them. It's really about engaging them rather than just like telling them this is how it's going to be.
Yep. Last one before we get you out of here. We got April Hamilton from FMOL Health and Our Lady of the Lake Children's. For families that want to get involved, how can they sign up for Wellness Wednesdays?
Yeah, so go ahead and follow Our Lady of the Lake Children's Health on social media, and there will be a link there to sign up. This week, our Wellness Wednesday is at Knock Knock Children's Museum. So you don't want to miss that. Come out to Knock Knock Children's Museum on this Wednesday, July 15th. We've got all sorts of community partners. We have our partners from Louisiana Healthcare Connections with a blender bike, so the kids can get on a bicycle and pedal to make their own smoothie. And that is always a big hit.
She is April Hamilton. Appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. As Medical Monday, of course, presented by Our Lady of the Lake, or FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. We team up every Monday to bring you something inside the world of inside the medical world. All right. We got news coming up about 2 minutes from right now. On the backside of that, we will have Louisiana Association of Business and Industry joining us. Looking forward to that. Before we take our next break, though, I want to remind you about the folks over at David Duvall and his team at One Bath and Closets. David Duvall and his 30 years of experience over at One Bath and Closets. All right. If you have not yet left the house this morning, if you're listening while you're getting ready for work, take a look around. Take a look around your closet. Is it as efficient as you would like it to be? Are there just stacks of stuff that you would like more organized, better organized? Is there any room left over at all because your closet isn't efficient as it could be? Now, go to onebathandclosets.com, spell it out, O-N-E, onebathandclosets.com. Scroll through a few of the galleries and see what David is capable of. See what the space is actually possible. See what is actually possible within the space. Same is true of your bathroom. All right. If you didn't build your house, your bathroom wasn't built for you. It is not as user-friendly or as functional as you might like it to be. And over time, trends change. Things change along the way. So if your house was built in the 70s or 80s, or mine was built in the 60s, it might be time for just an overall refresh. Lights are dimmer. Heaters don't work. You got one vanity, you need two, whatever the case might be. 400-8005 is the phone number. 400-8005. But I would start by just dreaming a little bit when you visit onebathandclosets.com. Get a look at what's possible within your own space. Then give David a call, 400-8005 for One Bath and Closets. All right, we got ABC News coming your way right now. We got local news, traffic, weather, and then we'll continue with the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry next. All right, I got another phone number for you. 318-305-9305. And caller from line 2 if you can. It says Shelby, so I'm assuming that's Shelby Dunbar.
This is LABI?
Yeah, it's not Will Green. I thought it was Will Green, and then I read the notes.
So, like, in your opinion, is it a problem that I typed in Will Green on the little show right now?
No, that's on me. You're all right. All right. I gotta get up and move around. Oh shit. Shelby, yeah.
Hello, is this Shelby with LABI? Hey there, I'm Will calling you from the Talk 107.3 studio from Williamson, Brian Haldane. Okay, no, perfect. I got you right here on my line. Actually, now that I'm hearing some crackling on this line now that I'm thinking about it. Can you sit tight for just 1 second? I'll call you back on line 2, and then we'll just put you on hold and wait for us to get out of this break. All right, give me 1 moment. I'm calling you right back.
She asked the governor to work with her administration to be successful, so the state can be successful. As goes the city of New Orleans, so does the state of Louisiana. Let's find
Hey there, Shelby.
to have our conversation.
All right, so if you're all good, yeah, this line definitely has less static on it. I don't know what's up with my line anymore. But yeah, I'll put you on hold for a second, and we're looks like maybe just 2 or 3 minutes in this break, and then we'll be putting you on the phone with Brian on here. Yeah, I can hear you good. It's better than it was on that first phone line I called you on. All right, great. Just sit there.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Traffic getting back to normal westbound I-10 headed to the new bridge. 16 minutes from Highland up to the bridge. Westbound I-12, you still have extra congestion there from the Cuban to I-10. There's a 20-minute drive time. Eastbound I-10 from Lobdell, 4 minutes over the bridge to the 110. And then you've got an accident with about a mile back of eastbound I-10 at Sorrento. I'm Josh Liddell.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Rated all here. With a company that has a true lifetime warranty, liquid.com, baby.
I know that hiring. You need someone to make your role perfect. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter. Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to
What's your last name? So I just write it down here.
Dunbar.
We're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge. What would you want the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BREC.com. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
100% fiber, 0% runaround. Visit rapfiber.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd never have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% monthly. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Talk 107.3 weather.
Showers and thunderstorms will be likely as we start the new week, and there's a threat of heavy rain and flooding. Temperatures under mostly cloudy skies will hold in the mid-80s. Scattered showers and storms overnight as lows drop into the 70s. Additional rain and thunderstorms with locally heavy rain for Tuesday. Highs in the upper 80s. More summer-like weather returns for the midweek. It'll be hot and humid with a few spotty afternoon storms. Highs in the 90s. Heat index values near 105. I'm meteorologist Dave Taylor. Forecast of WRC.
Louisiana's voice, loud and clear.
$736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Fast moving Monday morning, y'all, as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. So every Monday, just about every Monday, we get to visit with our good friends over at the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. This week is no different. We got Shelby Dunbar on the hotline with us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well on this end. Been looking forward to this conversation really since I started digging in on it. And that is, maybe some missed opportunities. We're talking this morning about where legal reform stands via the 2026 legislative session. Not everything was a win. Not everything was, a home run. So let's walk me through. Actually, can we back up by a year to the 2025 session to talk about where the successes were? Because it kind of sets the table for this past session and how comparatively they look together. So tell me about 2025 and where we saw wins.
Yeah, Brian. So we had a lot of wins in 2025. I think the 2025 session proves what Louisiana can accomplish when lawmakers make legal reform a priority. We came into 2026 really hoping to build on that momentum, but unfortunately, most of our top priority reforms just didn't make it across the finish line. I think from our perspective, we've always said that legal reform is not going to be a one session effort. We're going to have to continue to push. And although the progress that we made in 2025 was really important, it was never our end goal. The post will keep moving, and there's still a lot more work to do.
All right. So let's start right there, Shelby, because that's an important follow-up question, is why. If we make reforms, why do we need more reforms? Why do we need to keep pushing?
I think that this is an important message, Brian, because people are wondering the same thing. And what I would say is that legal reform is not just about lawsuits. It's about Louisiana's economy, the cost of living. When our legal system is more predictable and more transparent, you give businesses greater confidence to invest, expand, and create jobs in our state. So when they're paying higher commercial insurance premiums, which was one of the major issues we tried to echo this year, because of our legal climate, the costs don't just disappear. They're passed down to us as consumers in the price of goods and services, which just means that we are all paying more because of this lawsuit tax, let's call it.
Or also, we don't live in a vacuum. I mean, we'll make reforms. Other states will make reforms, and then other states will be more present a better picture to like let's just say on the insurance front, they'll present a better picture to the insurance companies, and they'll get more business than we will along the way. So that plays 100%. Into it as well. All right. So what were LABI's? What were the Louisiana Association of Business and Industries legal reform priorities this session?
We had a number of priorities. I'll highlight 4 of them. And honestly, you spoke to a couple of the authors before they actually got hearings this year, which was great to highlight them and the work that they're doing. But ultimately, I'll start with House Bill 526, which was Rep. Dickerson's general damage cap. Yeah. I know I came on to talk to you about that. And how that would restore some balance to our legal system. So basically what that bill did was set a $500,000 general damage cap, which are subjective damages. But it had some caveats. There were some exceptions to that. So if you suffered, there were multiple exceptions. So loss of limb, and, those major injuries, the cap would increase or even go away in some circumstances. So that was a bill that ultimately came from Oklahoma. And I'll go back to what you said about other states passing reform. we are constantly looking at other states and studying what they're doing and seeing what's working and what's driving their insurance rates down. So when we approached this year, one of the main things we tried to do was, study last year and really be creative and thoughtful in the legislation that we crafted. So I will say the general damage cap bill was a result of studying what Oklahoma did and how that was working for them. It unfortunately was killed in House Civil Law, so it didn't make it far through the process. But I think the theme of this year was how can we keep the conversation going, and just the importance of having those debates in committee. So some measures didn't even make it to committee, and I'll talk about a couple of those. But House Bill 526 did, and we did have some debate in committee, and ultimately I think that's what's important, the conversation that was had.
Well, and this one was one that then you'll remember our conversation about this one. I thought this was incredibly bold. Following 2025, Representative Egan wanted to put a $5 million cap on it, and we couldn't get that across the finish line. So even with the caveats and when you break down this bill, everything within it made sense, but it was beaten on an emotional level.
Right.
And just,
no, you're right. I think ultimately we're going to keep looking into this issue. We're going to keep trying to come up with a balanced approach that might not get as much debate from the opposing side. And hopefully we'll one day come to an agreement and pass a good bill,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. This little perseverance is going to be needed on that front. Talk to me a little bit about expert witness. Oh, this was one I was so on board with. A little bit about expert witness transparency. You'd hear the bile in my throat right now, just building up. Go for it.
Yeah. So this is Rep. Mellerine's. This is House Bill 437. What this bill would have done was ultimately provide greater transparency regarding expert witnesses whose testimony plays a really big role in litigation. So with this bill, the expert witness would not be able to be compensated for their testimony in a case. They wouldn't be able to have a financial interest in the outcome of the case. So we thought this one was a no-brainer. Basically, we think expert witnesses should be neutral, independent sources of specialized knowledge, right? You would think that both sides would agree with that. We made it through House Civil Law, and then we ultimately made it off of the House floor, and we're stalled in Jude with this one. So it was unfortunate. It was a very interesting debate in committee. I think this is a bill we will, again, keep workshopping and see if we can come to some sort of agreement. But yeah, this was one we were very excited about, and one I thought would not be as controversial as it was.
No, it shouldn't have been controversial at all. I mean, it's like, this one's like asking my mom who has the best news talk show in Baton Rouge. You shouldn't be that, like, you shouldn't have somebody on the team as a quote unquote expert. You definitely shouldn't be financially benefiting from the outcome of a case, to be sure. That's the wrong motivation right there. It's that when you're in court, the truth should be the motivation, not necessarily a preconceived outcome. Yeah, that was one that I was watching from the start. We're talking with Shelby Dunbar from LABI about the past legislative session, a few of the things that what could have been, and what could be for next year. By the way, that kind of moves us over to, what, can we skip around a little bit just to make sure we cover? Okay. I want to go to third-party litigation financing reform, because that was another one that should have been, I know this just does not sound sexy on the air, but once Shelby breaks this down, it's going to come to light. Tell me about third-party litigation financing reform.
Yeah, so this is a bill that's been, it's come up a few times since 2024. We've gotten a little bit across the finish line, and I really want to shout out to Rep. Chenevert. She is amazing to work with, and this is a passion project of hers. So basically, the bill this year would have prevented excessive investor profits by prohibiting third party litigation funders from receiving more than the plaintiffs who have filed the suit actually recover after attorney fees and costs are paid. So that seems like a no-brainer. It also would require attorneys to disclose any litigation financing agreement to their client, and then ensure timely disclosure by requiring the attorneys to provide a copy of that financing agreement within 30 days of being retained or entering into the agreement. So again, this is an issue that I just think is a no-brainer and something that both sides should have no problem with. It's about transparency to the plaintiff, who is, should be driving what happens with the lawsuit itself. So I think it's a very confusing topic. Not a lot of people know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's because of the lack of transparency on the other side.
It's because it's one thing for an unknown entity to bankroll a plaintiff, because then they have unlimited resources. It's another thing for that unknown entity to cash out on it. That, to me, is the most preposterous part of this, is now the plaintiff is nothing more than a front.
Right. And Brian, I think it's important to point out that other states are taking action, and some of them in a bipartisan effort. So North Carolina just last month and Ohio last week, they both passed really good TPLF reform. And I know I don't want to get into this too far, but they're moving the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important for us to follow suit and to look at what they're doing and how we can, accomplish the same things here.
Last one before we get you out of here, and I know we didn't cover the whole conversation. We probably need to have a follow-up segment just on this, but last one before we get you out of here is we've got an election year next year, and there's going to be a whole slew of bills that need to be pushed throughout. So what message does Lobby have for lawmakers heading into next year's session?
I think the message that we have is, we just got to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep the momentum. We've made significant progress in 2025. We had some great conversations in 2026. I think it's important to remember that the reforms that passed last year laid a foundation, but there's still more work to do. Commercial insurance costs are continuing to rise and are still a challenge for many of our employers in this state. And improving the legal climate here is just an important part of addressing that issue. So we're going to continue to work with lawmakers and stakeholders to advance reform that will strengthen Louisiana's economy. And I just encourage our lawmakers, to keep moving forward with us.
She is Shelby Dunbar from Lobby. Appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.
Tex Johnston. I haven't even looked yet. That's featured, by the way. I want the tax reform guy featured, but it was staticky line and by the way, I didn't get into Facebook for the comments on the Moral Dilemma Monday. Yeah, I wish I could have read some of them because I want to go back to what Alan said. You could be judged by your actions in life when you die. Okay, but you don't know them in life. You know what the headlines tell you. That to me is, if you act poorly in life, why shouldn't you be judged? You will be judged, Alan, but you're not the judge. And that like, to me, that's a big, I don't know. Maybe I'm more Catholic than I am Republican. I don't know. But judge not lest ye be judged. You must remove the plank from your own eye before you can remove the splinter from your brother's eye. Right. It's a bad look. It's just that simple. Carol says, right law demanding jail time for any council members trying to shove through data centers without what? Oh, yeah, data centers. Okay. Did you see my McGregor video, Brian? No, I don't know like who you are outside of posting on here. Hey, we're gonna add some LRN cuts in the 8:15 segment since I don't have Moon. This so this segment we got 10, 11, and 12, right? All right, we're gonna add 7, 8, and 9 for the 8:15 segment. And you and I are going to talk for a minute, just kind of chop it up about the Louisiana Purchase, since we both went to go see it on Friday. $7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Thanks again to Shelby Dunbar from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry for hopping on board right there. Before we get you into our next news item, which you actually heard a little bit from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. Before we get to that, got to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website, FlyBTR.com, if you wanted to check it out. Now, I recommend hitting up FlyBTR.com. Not just for making your reservations, not just for learning about what flights are available, but of course, arrivals and departures are listed right there on the website. So before you head, like, let's say, for example, you were taking advantage of the daily flight to Washington, D.C. Leaves out at 7 o'clock in the morning, flies right into Reagan National. Well, I can tell you this morning that flight's delayed. Don't know why it's delayed yet, but there is a delay on that flight. In fact, there's actually a couple of them this morning. I wouldn't be shocked if they weren't rather weather related. But the first flight into the morning coming in from Houston, Texas got delayed as well. And there's also a flight to Atlanta that's been delayed as well. Everything else is up and running as it should be. And looking at the rest of the morning, not showing anything else beyond that looks like it'll be problematic. So it's just those few. But the main point is, if you want to save yourself a little time before you're leaving the house, on your way to the airport, flybtr.com has got you covered on every front. So if you're making your travel plans for this Tiger football season, you might want to check out direct flights there as well. Heading to Knoxville, heading to Lexington, bringing friends in from Clemson, Alabama, or Texas, they got you covered at flybtr.com. New Orleans' mayor, Helena Moreno, has asked for a face-to-face meeting with Governor Landry after exchanging letters and social media posts about the city's finances. This has been an evolving story, a growing story over the last, week and a half now. Well, actually dating back to the legislative session. Knowing the State Bond Commission would have rejected it, Moreno withdrew the city's request to seek a $110 million loan from a third party. Moreno says New Orleans will take a different approach, but it will be a much more painful path forward. Cut 10, please.
We will have to continue to keep our employees on furlough, and we will also have to delay some projects as well.
There's probably bigger questions than that might need answers, like why? Why are you in that situation to begin with? We'll get to that in a minute if we have time. We'll stick with the actual news end of it. Moreno inherited a financial crisis left behind by her predecessor, LaToya Cantrell. In Moreno's latest social media post, she asked the governor to work with her administration to be successful so that the state is successful. Cut 11.
As goes the city of New Orleans, so goes the state of Louisiana. Let's find that time to have our conversation.
Okay. That's an important point right there. And I think that's a point that will not be overlooked by the governor, because this is something that from his inauguration, he's been on board with. The governor has recognized the importance of New Orleans, but this is a two-way street here. And this is where New Orleans is going to have to remember that, yeah, you're valuable, but if you're the one calling on the state needing help, you're the one coming in hat in hand. That is a two-way street right there. Nothing will replace that port down there. Nothing will replace a worldwide city down there. But if you screwed up your own backyard so much that you got to come a-begging to Baton Rouge, you need to remember that and have a little bit of humility as well. A two-way street. Now, Landry has been critical of New Orleans' spending and has accused the city of treating Louisiana as an ATM. Moreno responded by saying the bond request would not have resulted in New Orleans receiving more money in the state, that she's happy to discuss the finances in person if she could. Cut 12.
Happy to meet you anywhere, even on Bourbon Street, and you can show me your favorite ATM machine.
Whatever. I could have lived without that last part. But the point does remain, is this is something that the governor saw very, very early on, but it's going to take both sides working together, not one side saying we're the MVP of this team, so give us everything we want. Right? That's if you're the one who's had in hand, it's got to start with a little bit of humility. Coming up on 8 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM, which means we've got 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. We've got, we're taking you back in time. This day in history is right after news. Jim says there is a reason why we're recalling Governor Jeff Landry and Attorney General Liz Murrell. Okay, then tell it to me, Jim. What is that reason?
introduce me, but what's your wife's name?
Christy.
Jim did say why he wants to recall him. I don't know what he's talking about.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Eastbound I-10 in traffic, no delays on the top of the new bridge on the westbound side from Highland Road.
Politicians sign NDAs with these corporations in order to skirt state sunshine laws. Those NDAs should absolutely be made illegal. Any and every politician who signs one should be summarily recalled by the voters. Well, you've got a big, big task in front of you, Jim, and good luck with it. That shit ain't never gonna happen. Actually, it's the mentality like that made Texas what it is today. Us having that mentality made Texas what it is today.
What's the state sunshine laws? What is it say?
He's talking about making sure everything within an economic development deal is completely transparent. And that's just not how companies operate. It's not the hour 3 open. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Wilton producing. We're starting off your 8 o'clock hour, holding at 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. Yes, we have our eyes on the forecast. Yes, there's a 70% chance of rain today. Yes, I think that number is low too. Because we're looking at what within the next, I don't know, within the next hour or so, we should have a pretty decent amount of that system moving over the top of us. Busy hour this hour. I say that. Normally we have Moon Griff on Mondays at 8:15. Moon's out for some personal business right now. He'll be back hopefully very, very soon, God willing. And but we're gonna skip the segment today. Got some news to cover within that segment. And actually there's a number of different stories to cover within that segment. So we'll get there. But 8:30, we're gonna hand off to the BREC Room. We got Maurice Velasquez gonna be in studio with us. Got some guests on the phone as well. That's all still to come later this hour. But we start off your 8 o'clock hour with This Day in History. All right, Wilton, what you got?
Got some pretty interesting history for you today. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. So
All right.
I'll just get right into it. All the way back in 1832, on this day in history, the source of the Mississippi River discovered by American geographer Henry Schoolcraft.
Really?
Mississippi headwaters. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. 1865, P.T. Barnum's Museum in New York burns down.
No.
Yeah, that was in that there actually was like that was even shown in the little musical with Hugh Jackman.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it The Greatest Showman?
Greatest Showman. He had to
I
like
never saw
rebuild
it.
after. It's actually pretty good for a musical, but like obviously like it makes him into a hero, and he's kind of a controversial figure.
Well, yeah, and
I thought that was a weird choice to make into a musical. The music was actually pretty good, but like it's just strange combination.
Yeah, I never saw the musical. Although I will say this though. This is something I can say that not a whole lot of people can say.
What you got?
I have a friend who was a clown for Barnum and Bailey.
Oh, no way.
Seriously.
That's pretty cool.
Went to clown college and everything.
Clown college actually is pretty hard from what I hear.
Yeah.
It's actually like pretty intense thing.
No, it's legit. Like, there's a lot of factors of entertainment that you hear, oh, you're a clown.
Right.
But
that's
no,
one of the oldest disciplines in entertainment.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, you're a Catholic, so this would be pretty interesting to you, I believe. In 1917, the Vision of the Virgin Mary appeared to the children in Fatima, Portugal. Our Lady of
way.
Fatima,
I did not
Portugal.
realize that was today.
That is today.
All right.
My personal favorite historical tidbit for today: in 1923, American explorer, famous Roy Chapman Andrews, was on an expedition in the Gobi Desert of Mongolia. 1923, he discovered the first dinosaur eggs, fossilized dinosaur eggs.
No kidding.
At the time, believed to be belonging to the Protoceratops. We have since decided, or since researched and realized and learned they were actually oviraptor eggs.
Oh wow.
So it's actually a theropod species, oviraptor predator known for scavenging.
Oh wow. What you know what's
eggs.
crazy about that story right now
What you got?
is the fact that, and this is stepping away from this day in history, but today Sam Neill passed away.
I was gonna mention that as we got around
So,
to it, but
yeah.
that was breaking my heart.
But, I mean-
I've dressed up as Dr. Alan Grant for Halloween twice. I'm heartbroken to hear that Sam Neill passed away. But,
Yeah. So the actor, he best known for Jurassic Park or The Piano.
Right.
But yeah, I think we all know him from Jurassic Park. So
Oh, he's so good. Let me get through a couple of more quick ones of this. I like little news tidbits like this.
Mhm.
It's not something super major that happened, but in 1930, David Sarnoff of the New York Times reported TV will be a theater in every home. And as we now know, that is pretty much exactly what happened. Changed the entertainment landscape completely.
okay.
1934, Babe Ruth hits his 700th career home run.
All right. Nice.
We'll go quick now. 1985 was a Live
Aid.
Aid
Yep.
concerts. Yep. And a couple more recent ones in 2013. Hashtag Black Lives Matter was created in response to the acquittal of George Zimmerman for the murder of Trayvon Martin.
What?
In
Really?
2013.
Black Lives Matter started before George Floyd.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I
It
mean,
was already-
really
it
got
already had-
popularized with Floyd. But,
Right. It already had some momentum by that time, though.
Okay.
2024, on this day in history, President Donald Trump, current President Donald Trump, at the time he was campaigning, he was targeted by an assassin in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Survived that assassination attempt. Famous birthdays today.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
I got a stack. over here.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, I'm going too fast.
This day in let's start 1897. On this day in 1897, we're going to take you to a patent office where Guglielmo Marconi received the patent for the radio.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. This day in 1930 began the first World Cup. This day in 1978, the Rolling Stones played the Superdome in New Orleans. Premiering on this day in 1990 was the movie Ghost. And just as important to cinema, premiering on this day in 2001 was Legally Blonde.
Yeah, a lot that I didn't know about. Okay. Moving on to some famous birthdays.
Yep.
Did you have Julius Caesar?
I did not have Julius
100
Caesar.
BC. It's recorded as July 13th.
His birthday is July 13th of 100 BC. All right.
I also got Patrick Stewart, Harrison Ford, and Ken Jeong.
Got Harrison Ford down there as well. Also, Cheech Marin, born on this day in 1946. New Orleans is Paul Prudhomme, born on this day in 1940. And New Orleans Saints, Danny Abramowitz, born on this day in 1945.
Nice. All right. Some important deaths anniversary today. Mexican painter Frida Kahlo.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we actually just had her birthday like a week or so ago.
Yeah.
So Frida Kahlo today. I didn't know about this one, actually. I guess it was overshadowed because it was the summer of 2020. Did you know Grant Imahara, the Mythbuster, died today?
Wait, which Mythbuster?
He was not like, there's like the main ones, Adam Savage and Jamie, right?
Yeah.
The oldest one, the main ones. And then when they started doing, they would cut to their friends, the three younger kind of Mythbusters.
Yeah.
The guy, I'm not actually sure where he's from, but he has kind of an East Asian look to him, black hair.
Okay.
Grant Imahara. He was 49.
And it was this day in 2020?
2020.
So that'd be COVID. So nobody would have heard a headline.
We had every other headline going on right there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Sam Neill today.
Rewind it to 2010. George Steinbrenner died on this day in 2010. And then speaking of headlines, grabbing a news cycle, this day in 2024, when all the headlines were about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, New Orleans' own Richard Simmons passed away.
Oh, there's that one too.
Yep. National days, you got anything?
I saw on the internet that it was National Beans and Franks Day.
Franks and Beans!
I was like,
sorry,
it's Monday. Let's just do some red beans and rice instead.
Yes, absolutely. That's how we roll here. But Franks and Beans Day for everybody else.
Right.
It's 8:14 to Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our break, I'll remind you about the folks over at Neurojust, Neurojust. I like spelling it out just to make sure you hit the right website with neurojust.com. Who is in need of neurojust.com? Anybody battling with anxiety or depression, especially if you've tried other routes for treatment. Talking about antidepressants. If you don't like the way the meds make you feel, you're seeing diminishing returns, you're not liking the side effects, or they're just not taking, or the sit down, talk it out therapy hasn't been for you. Now, if either of those routes are working for you, by all means, stick with them. But if they're not, give TMS therapy a try. Transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's non-invasive. I've sat through the process. It's non-invasive. It's completely pain-free. And if you've gone down one of the other routes before, like a prescription med, the guys at Neurojust, the whole team over there, will work to make sure your insurance is picking up the tab. Now, when we talk about first-class operations in Baton Rouge, as soon as you walk through the front door of that office over on Bluebonnet, you are treated with like absolute royalty. It is a top-notch, take care of you from start to finish operation, not just with the TMS therapy, but for every other aspect of your mental health. So if you've got those feelings of hopelessness, depression, loneliness, isolation, if it continues to build up and that fight or flight is just getting exhausting, there's help for you out there by calling 330-7382 or visiting neurojust.com. Yes, please. Oh, so tired. About midway over the Atchafalaya, head westbound. Like Whiskey Bay Bridge ish. I don't know what it is to the north. I know you can hear us in Opelousas, but I don't remember past that. Heading east, about Hammond. And then I don't know what it is due south, but I know if you're heading down to New Orleans, when you get that second Gonzales exit, it gets a little staticky. Matt says, how'd you get the beans above the Frank? Have you ever seen the movie There's Something About Mary? Oh, well, yeah. That's from that very embarrassing scene in that movie. That's when I yelled out Franks and Beans. That's also from that movie. Franks and Beans. Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Oh. 819 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. BREC Room's coming up about 13 minutes from right now. Looking forward to that. Maurice Velasquez is going to be in the house. We got a lot to cover. As we do every Monday. It feels like BREC is always doing about 1,000 different things at once. Couple things before we get moving again. Actually, you know what? Let me pause real quick. And Wilton, you want to hop in on this as well. I got the chance before it packed up and got out of here. And by the way, did you go see the Louisiana Purchase document? If you did, I want your comments on our Facebook live feed. We're live on Facebook every single day, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Did you make your way to the old state capitol to see the Louisiana Purchase? If so, what were your takeaways? We went by on Friday. Actually, ran into Wilton while I was over there. What were your takeaways to the Louisiana Purchase exhibit?
Off the bat, smaller than I thought.
Seriously, yes. Oh my gosh.
It's like it's folded in the docket. Like it looks like I think I've seen longer restaurant menus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
like,
then,
no, if you took a Waffle
kinda
House
looks
menu and turned it sideways, it would be bigger than it.
So that was the page they had out was like a reproduction, I guess, of one of the pages that would be in there. But then
the page they had out, not a reproduction, the actual thing.
No, I think it was like in the booklet that was closed.
Oh, okay. No, the white one the white one that was to the right and the top. Like
I think they said that was
there were 3 actual copies. That was one of them. There's another one in France, and I forget where she said the third one was. So no, I don't think that was a reproduction. I think that was it.
I think I was under the impression that the book, like the closed book, was it, and then the page that they had out was a copy of one that was right to the side of it.
Maybe I walked in late. Maybe anyway. I would say let's get Mary DeRusso on but she's worn out because the number of people visiting the old state capitol while the purchase was here was through the roof. So
how long had it been?
A couple months. Been there a couple months. I can tell you on the 4th of July, they made it a point to stay open longer on the 4th of July.
That's cool.
And she had, I don't know, she had over 1,000 visitors on the 4th alone. So huge. But that was my takeaway as well. It looked like a page was ripped out of a legal pad. So it looked like somebody ripped it out of a legal pad.
So there's multiple pages, but then like if you get down there and look in the booklet, right? Like it still looked like
the booklet, like you were facing the display. The book that was to the bottom left is what you're talking about.
Well, like the folding piece with the covers. I'm doing this with my hands. It's radio.
No,
Like
but it was closed though.
Mhm.
Okay,
But if you
All right.
if you like got even with it, if you got even with it and looked at it, it's not that long. Like it wasn't that thick,
But-
right? Of
yeah.
papers. It was like I don't know, maybe 5-10 pages, something like that.
Yeah.
Which
Meanwhile, and so I thought that was the signature page because everybody got to see the signature for sure. I thought it was odd. No photography at all. No photography whatsoever.
correct.
But they did have a QR code out front where you could download pictures.
And see more of that
Right.
pages, yeah.
Right.
Because light would be damaging to the document.
Yeah. Which there's so much about this that's just weird because if you dig into the history of the Louisiana Purchase, basically Napoleon pawned off, like he went into a pawn shop and
Pawn's the exact
Thomas
right word.
Jefferson was the pawn shop.
It's
He
the
went to
exact right
Jefferson's
word,
pawn
'cause he needed the
and
quick
said,
cash.
"Yeah, I need to sell a country." He was like a band member who had to put gas in his van, so he sold his guitar, or he sold his amp. We were Napoleon's amp, and he just hawked us to fill his tank up with gas so he could go fight with Russia.
With England.
With England.
And in his mind, he was like, if he won that war with them, in his mind, he was eventually going to outmaneuver us and like get it back.
Well, yeah, that was the whole plan.
That was in his mind. What he saw is like, that's just naturally what's gonna
Hawk it
happen.
right. Well, but everybody who walks into a pawn shop has the plan of getting their stuff back.
I guess, yeah. But then they did say that's why that's exactly. I never heard that, but that's the right word.
Thank you.
Then he said, he did say but like that's kind of what I had heard in Louisiana history and stuff. But then there was a quote on the wall in there where he says, in doing this purchase, I have now given England I'm not a direct quote, paraphrasing, but I've now given England like a worthy adversary that will rival them on the continent down the line.
Talking about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we doubled in size.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of ridiculous when you look at just how much of the nation, just viewing how much of the nation was Louisiana. And I never realized though that the Florida parishes weren't part of it.
Right.
So I grew up in St. Tammany Parish. So but St. Tammany all the way through here in Baton Rouge, it was west. The Louisiana Purchase started at the river and went west from there, west and north from there. So there was a lot about the whole display. Yes, the document itself was underwhelming as far as I was expecting the Declaration of Independence.
It was interesting, but yeah, it was a little. I thought it'd be a little more dramatic looking, but it was interesting to learn about how they have to ship it back and forth across the ocean, and seal it up with the cord and with the
wax,
the special wax seal for the consul. He wasn't like the King of France. It just they had just finished saying we're done with kings.
Yeah,
but he was representing them, and he had to have his special seal on there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. So the wax seal, like buying a bottle of Maker's Mark, is
similar.
Yeah.
But they would wrap a cord around the whole book, seal it,
and then seal the cord into the wax so that if it were tampered with, you would know.
Tell.
Yeah. All the history of it's cool. I just when I'm looking at it, I was expecting like something that Nicolas Cage would want to steal in a sequel to National Treasure.
Yeah.
And it's like now I look at it, and I'm like, I see Nicolas Cage going, "Is that it?" And that's it. The history end of it is awesome. It was completely awesome.
Yeah.
But the execution also again for Mary DeRusso, who runs the Old State Capitol over there, one of the people that was in the room asked the question was, is it true that Napoleon signed the Louisiana Purchase in the bathtub? And that rumor, that's somehow a rumor, but
I've never heard that.
So cannot be confirmed nor denied. No one knows. Did he sign it in the bathtub? Nobody knows. Sarah says on Facebook, we visited on Saturday. I was amazed by the quality of the treaty and to see Napoleon's signature. The folio was stunning. The beading and fabric looked like art. So yes, that part, let me give full credit where credit's due. That part was awesome. I was expecting, a big old parchment.
I really did think they always rolled them up. I was impressed to see that the folio. That's the right word.
Yeah,
I didn't know what I was talking about. But that's the right word.
Yeah,
that was impressive. I was with somebody who was from originally Portland, Oregon, and they had they had heard all about it too. It's the kind of thing that we go in depth on in Louisiana history classes in Louisiana, right? But like, it's the kind of thing that is in your U.S. history classes all around the United States. So they were excited to see it too. I was like,
well, yeah, I mean, it's not, if not for Louisiana, do we ever get Manifest Destiny?
I was like, do you guys want to do this? They were like, yes, that sounds exciting. That sounds cool as a history fan. So that was cool to see. And they were not alone. There's other people from out of state on little trips and things that were interested in checking it out. So, I mean, it's a huge part of just United States history, that one.
Yeah, very cool stuff. But it packed up after Saturday and has returned to the National Archives in Washington, D.C. We're at 827 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Let me remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank, landmarkbankla.com. I mean, basically, since the Louisiana Purchase, Landmark Bank's been around. Not really. They were founded in 1897. That's closer to then than it is to now, right? Been in our backyard for well over a century, 1897 till now, remaining true to their mission of being a community bank, which when you have a community bank, you have a community banker, which means you have someone who's in your neighborhood, in your community, who can better help you get where you want to be. Whether you're talking about investing, whether you're talking about saving, whether you're talking about borrowing, they've got you covered. You sit down with someone you see in the line at the grocery store or in carpool, picking up your kids. That's what community is all about. You can learn more about their locations, hours, and what they're capable of over at landmarkbankla.com. All right, one more quick news story before we get you to news, traffic, and weather. This is leaning on our friends at Louisiana Radio Network once again. Mandy Landry had an AI bill in the last legislative session that basically says if you're running political ads using AI technology, you have to completely disclose that fact. Representative Landry said her bill walks a fine line between protecting people's rights to free speech and holding people accountable for using deceptive means to hurt others. Cut 7, please.
For those of us who are public figures, the public can go a lot further with what they say about us. The question is something just making fun of us, or is it intending to actually harm our reputation?
So nowhere was that more evident than in the run-up to the runoff election between Julia Letlow and John Fleming, both of whom had AI ads made against them. Representative Landry says such AI content is something that will likely be addressed next year. Cut 8.
I think next session, some of my colleagues are going to want to push some of this a little further, because when we passed this, it was before a lot of the ads you're talking about, and a lot of people were hesitant about how far they wanted to push it.
So the question then becomes is how much of it is on our backs as voters, as the electorate, to be able to look at the AI and say, this is actually AI, to be able to see what's in front of our faces and know the difference between, was it live or was it Memorex? I know that's a dated reference. Is it real or is it AI? Is that on us? Because I can tell you right now, there's a lot of instances where I don't think we'll know. There's some where it's very, very clear, but there's a lot of instances where I don't think we would know, nor should we be expected to know, because that's how good AI can be. All right, we got news, we got traffic, we got weather on the back end. It's time for the BREC Room right here. We're at 8:30 at Talk 107.3 FM. We'll get Maurice Velasquez in here and talk about all things BREC next on Talk 107.3. Deborah says, yes, a very small but significant historical document. Totally. All right, yo.
Do I have a slide to put on the back from you guys?
Yes, let me forward it to you. What's your email?
You can email me at WLANDRY823@gmail.com.
Okay.
And did you get Robin's email?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great. Maurice just walked in. Gotcha. We're on break right now. I'll just put you on hold for a little bit, and then Brian will pick up the phone from the booth. All right, great.
Local news. W. Landry 8.
Wait, he just called in and it came from line 1. Should I do something or should I?
Nah, we'll see how it goes. It was at 823, you said?
WLANDRY823@gmail.com.
All right, the PDF is what you're looking for.
I love y'all's your history spot.
Thank you. We cover a lot of ground.
Yeah. I was thinking, man, oh man, wait, I'm up next. I'm not a history buff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a history buff wannabe.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'll watch a lot of History Channel. I won't retain any of it.
Almost like a film buff.
Yeah.
Wannabe.
Right.
I'll say, yeah, I'm a film buff, and then I talk to other film buffs, and it's like, okay, you know what?
Not
I'm just scratching the surface.
Right. No. I just worked at Blockbuster. That's it. I had my 5 free employee rentals a week. Yeah. Had my 5 free employee rentals every week. I think so. All right.
Do you want me to go straight to you first or straight to Brett?
Straight to BREC. It's,
Okay, yeah. Do you have headphones or do you want?
No, normally I hear it somewhere over there. Okay.
You measure your home, install yourself, save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed.
So, you okay if like we just steam it around all that we have coming up, 5 minutes of the stuff, and then what else coming up is the first is coming in town.
Yeah.
This is the BREC Room, a weekly conversation centered around the joys of the outdoors, reminding you experiences. Now taking you through today's particular topics. Here's Brian Haldane.
834 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time for the BREC Room. Something we do every Monday around here. Just get caught up with what's going on in our city parish's recreation department. And there's never a shortage of topics. Although today's going to be a little bit different of a structure because, we got more. You're here.
Yeah, I'm
you're here, but we're not burying the lead here because the guy that's already on hold.
Yeah.
So
I'm just the warm up band.
Yes, exactly.
But hey, I love y'all's guys history segment.
Oh, thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
I was saying, don't finish, and I realized, wait, I'm up next. So you guys got to finish. Well, that was really good stuff.
Yes, very. It's a building. It's a buildup of year after year after year.
Right.
Like you just accumulate more and more.
Right.
Things as important as the patent of the radio to. Yeah, it was today in 1978. The Stones played the Dome. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. So, we're gonna get to our new superintendent Brooks Williams in just a little bit, but there's some calendar events that are going on right now that I think we need to knock out first because it's there's plenty.
The biggest thing is coming up tomorrow at the Independence Theater. It's the community meeting for the City of Brooks Parks discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts at 5:30. Doors open at 5 o'clock. There's going to be a panel discussion. The panel will be made up of one of the commissioners, Mike Polito, Lon Vignair, our interim superintendent, Janet Simmons, is going to be there. Angela Harms, our director of P&E, will be on the panel, as well as Mike Gravy, our director of golf. So we'll be hearing. I've been asked a lot: is the microphone going to be open? Actually, yes, precisely. The whole meeting is set up to foster and have mic open, very organized, and yes, we want to hear what everyone has to say.
So for those that want to have something to say, you don't just roll up as the meeting starts, though. There's going to be a little bit of form to this.
Yeah, it is. Get there, of course, as early as you can. Sign up to like when you go to a city council meeting, sign up the card that you want to speak. get in line, you'll be called. And then for those that don't get to the microphone, don't want to skip the microphone, we'll read the cards. And we do have we do want to get out of there relatively, in time.
Right.
But we're gonna go through everybody.
This is part of why I can never be a public official. Is the part where, if someone's already asked a question, just save it. You don't have to hear like the same question on repeat.
Right. Actually, later today, we're going to be publishing a fact sheet with which that has a lot of questions and answers in it. So we're going to make it available for the public. You'll find it on our website. We're going to send it out in our EU blast. You'll see it on social media. And the reason is for give folks a good 24 hours to look at all the questions the frequently asked questions that we get asked a lot, so that you see that those are the ones we're going to cover. Mm-hmm. And yes, we're going to encourage everybody that if a question gets answered, go ahead and try not to repeat it. If you have a new dynamic to the question, of course, ask it. But yeah, the goal is to move it along so that we can hear all the different questions and not become repetitive.
And there's also one other option here. If you didn't want to wait in line, if you didn't want to speak in front of people, there are comment cards. You can just
absolutely
make your comments known and submit them, and they will be addressed.
That is correct. It's also going to be streamed. So if you're not able to make it, please stream it. Please watch it in our stream at BREC.org.
BREC.org is where we'll go.
So again, 5:30. The address is 70. What do I have here?
It's Independence Theater.
7800 Independence Boulevard. Okay, at Independence Park.
Absolutely. All right. Do we want to touch on a few other things?
Yeah, we do. All right. So just a couple of quick ones. At Liberty Lagoon, we have a family night tomorrow, July 14th, 6 to 9. It's a lot of fun. At the zoo, there is every Tuesday and Thursday at the zoo, we have what's called twilight tours. Okay. Just you get to experience the zoo in the evening hours. It's a different experience. Come ride the train. It's usually very fun. And also we have at the Highland Observatory, we have what's called Plus Night, which is from 7 to 10 p.m. It's things that you normally get to see during the public during regular hours. A lot of different events. And yeah, that's pretty much
7 to 10 p.m. on July 18th.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Sorry, I didn't say that. Yes, it's Saturday.
And back to the twilight tours at the zoo, I highly recommend.
Yeah, it's really good.
Because, two reasons. Number one, it's summertime. So it's dropped the temperature down a couple degrees.
Right.
Number two is you're going to get different animal patterns at different times of the day.
Correct.
So that's always a good thing.
That one is from 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Yeah,
every Tuesday and every Thursday.
So yes, if you're used to taking the kids to the zoo on like a late Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon, you're going to get a completely different experience.
Right.
So,
and the family night at the Liberty Lagoon is tomorrow from 6 to 9 p.m. Okay?
Very, very cool stuff.
So,
All right. Let's not leave our guest on hold any longer than we absolutely have to, and then we'll get back to you on the back end of the segment.
Just wake me up.
So we get the new superintendent on the hotline.
Yeah, good.
Brooks Williams is with us. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing very well as well. Let's start off with just the absolute basics for those of us who don't know you yet. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where your background? Give us the full resume.
Well, you said my name earlier, Brooks Williams. I'm a pretty uninteresting person, I guess, right? I've been married to my wife for about 20 years. We've got 5 kids together, so we stay pretty busy. Our oldest is 18, and we've got everything down to 10-year-old twin boys.
Oh, wow.
So there's not much quiet in our household. It's a full-time job doing that. Professionally, I've been a city manager now in Texas for about 8 years, and prior to that, I've got some experience in the public school system and then in finance as well. And so I'm one of those that's got a piled higher and deeper. I've got a doctorate in public administration. I teach on the side as well. I still teach public administration to those that are kind of up and coming and wanting to learn what it is that we do in this crazy world of public service. I think I heard you say you could never be a public official, and it is a crazy world now, but there's a lot of good people that are coming up that want to do that. So that's probably one of my greatest joys, is getting to work with those folks. Outside of work, sports fanatic, outdoors, absolutely love it. It's been a big part of my life. Since I was a kid, I've done everything from play soccer up until I went to college, tennis, baseball, football, swam on the swim team, played golf. I still play golf, although I'm going to say play is probably a really generous description of what I do when I get out on the golf course. Hiking, whitewater rafting is still something that I love doing. So that's me in a nutshell.
5 kids. I would imagine it's not when you get on the golf course, but if you get on the golf course.
It absolutely is. And so if I can convince one of them now to go play golf, it is a great excuse. I'm like, oh, no, the kid wants to go play. It's not me.
Yeah, that's the play.
I gotta go spend time.
It's smart approach. All right, let's talk a little bit about your last job. Where at in Texas, and what was the job like? What did the job entail?
So the job is city manager. It's about 18 minutes south of Dallas, Fort Worth. And so a city manager, if you ask a city manager, they'll tell you they're the chief executive of a porta potty company, because what they get to do is take crap all day long. That is generally what we do. But in reality, you're the chief executive officer of the city. So in Texas, in council manager forms of government, the city council is the policy making body, and the city manager handles the day-to-day operation. So everything reports up to them: the police chief, the fire chief, emergency medical services, planning and development, permitting, water, sewer, everything that goes on in the city reports up to that person, and they are responsible for making sure that life functions, if you will, for the people that are in that community.
What about that translates to the new gig?
I think that BREC is really a very complex organization, just like a city. And I think that you look at children are playing there, pools are being used for kids to learn to swim. There's trails where people go walk, the parks where families get together. And I think while BREC's product is parks, there's a lot that goes into that. And behind those experiences, there's budgets, there's maintenance schedules, there's vacancies for jobs, there's procurement, safety. There's just a lot of work that goes into it that I don't think a lot of people see. And I think there's an incredible transition from running day-to-day operations of a city to a complex and really large organization like BREC is. When you talk about $110, $115 million budget with hundreds of employees, there's a lot of translation between those two.
We are talking with Brooks Williams, the new superintendent of BREC. What made you want to take this challenge on?
I don't probably have a real dramatic or glamorous answer for you. I think what it is, again, there's a huge opportunity, I think, with BREC. I think BREC has the ability to bring the parish together and do some really incredible things and set the tone for what Baton Rouge can be. And I think that there are some really hard discussions and difficult things ahead. But I think if we can get through those and really set a tone for what we can do, man, there's some great things that can happen in Baton Rouge. And I see it as nothing but a great opportunity. And so, again, it wasn't just parks for me. It wasn't just recreation for me. It was there. This is an incredible opportunity to help shape East Baton Rouge Parish.
Have you set priorities yet for what you want to do with the organization?
I've started to set some priorities, yes. I know that we've got to look at what condition are our facilities really in. What commitments have we really already made to the public? What can we afford? Look at what our staffing looks like, and are there broken processes affecting the service that we're providing? What are residents experiencing? I've been very open about, and I'll say again, we win gold medals, and that's a great thing, but that needs to translate into what the public is actually experiencing from BREC. That's important. To just put gold medals on a wall and say, look, we did it, I think is not a genuine approach to what we should be providing for what I consider to be our customers, which are the taxpayers that are funding the BREC system. And so priorities are going to be really making sure that we are delivering on what we said we would deliver on, and that we're having real honest conversations about where we are from a financial standpoint, what we can and can't do. And then how do we get there? Because I think that we've got some right sizing to do. I think there's some significant deferred maintenance. I think there's some challenges with getting pools staffed and facilities opened. And when you look at kind of the disparity between one facility and another, we've got to right size a lot of those things. But again, that comes with some really difficult conversations, I think, too.
Talk with Brooks Williams. He's the new superintendent of BREC. Everybody's got their own different leadership style. How would you describe yours?
Direct, accessible, and curious. And I think for those that work with BREC, they would use a different word than curious. Those that have already had an opportunity to interact with me, I ask a lot of questions. They may even call me a pain in the. I'll leave the last word out. Okay. But I ask a lot of questions. I like to see the work rather than just hear a presentation about it. I want to understand how things operate. But I'm a very direct person as well. You're never going to have to guess what I'm thinking. You're never going to have to, sift through what did he really mean by that. But I'm also, I believe in being there shoulder to shoulder with people, understanding how they're doing their work, what challenges they have. I don't think that we can really advocate for the parks or the people if we are not there with them, understanding what it is that they're doing day to day, so that we can advocate positively for them. I'm not a hover over competent people boss at all, but I do follow up. And I'm not looking to punish people for bringing bad news to the table, which I think we're going to have some bad news brought forward as we sort through some of these things.
Almost certainly.
Yeah, I think we've got to address it.
Let's fast forward 10 years down the road. How do you hoping you shape BREC? What are you hoping your legacy is over the next decade?
The honest answer to that is I don't really care much about my own personal legacy. I think public service, if you look at it today, I think it can make people really impressed with their own titles, and they start believing everybody's going to remember who held the office or who made some speech or who was sitting in that chair. And the reality is most people are not going to remember any of that, and they shouldn't have to. I'm not a person that's looking for a plaque on a wall or people be telling stories. Oh, do you remember how great that superintendent was? I want things that we helped build to still work for people. My vision 10 years from now is a child that has a safe place to play, a family that can afford a program that we offer. I want people to be able to use a trail, a pool, a field, or a facility that we've got because it was built and maintained to the standard that we said it was going to be built and maintained to. And I really want employees that come along after us to inherit that system. And it'd be a system that makes sense instead of the problems that we know about today and that we're dealing with. I don't think they need to remember my name, my face, my title. They just need to be able to get to live the experience of the good decisions that we're making. And I think that matters to me more than anything.
Brooks, let me get you to hang on 1 second. We got to take a quick break. We're going to come back right after this. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. Go ahead and hit traffic. Sorry, it goes traffic, then your money now, then back. Mondays aren't like the rest of the days of the week when it comes to this break.
Okay, I didn't realize. I was going to let you guys go till 8:50 and then.
Yeah, no, that would be the normal Tuesday through Friday. I forgot to brief you on that Mondays are. In fact, I had forgotten about it all the way up until 8:48 and 45 seconds. So
I'm normally I'm used to it at 8:51.
Yeah.
You'll bring them all the way to the end. I'm good with that.
Are you?
Yeah.
There's nothing else we're going to cover?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I would just say let's just make one final push for the City Brooks, and everybody don't forget.
Then let's save you the last 60 seconds.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
Sure.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Stocks are mixed.
W Landry 823 at gmail.com.
Yeah, where's it coming from?
Brian.Haldane at guaranteemedia.com.
The agreement covers more than 5,000 unionized employees in Canada before began negotiations with Ford last month. The EU has charged Meta Platforms Instagram and Facebook with breaching its tech rules, with regulators targeting agent-based.
Oh, hey, how about this?
And demanded changes to autoplay and infinite scroll or risk fines. The European Commission's preliminary findings follow a 2-year investigation. A Reuters analysis says a new AI
What the dookie?
Meta, it's called Muse Image, failed to identify some of its own AI-generated images once they were cropped. The finding highlights the challenges of verifying AI-generated images after common alterations. A limitation that-
No, it's on me. I sent the .co, not .com. Little typo. No,
So
it
when
didn't
this
again,
is
damn
over,
it.
wait. I don't break again. Yeah, no, it just goes to legal ID at 9 o'clock. Okay, so we're about to put you guys back on.
Yes.
Got it.
The competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
There we go. Now it's sent. Not that it matters at this point, but
Explore winning business solutions Game Changers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Nope.
That's weird. It started both at the same time.
We're at 8:52 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. The BREC Room, rolling right along. We got Superintendent Brooks Williams on the phone with us right now to kind of bring us up to speed, a little introductory interview, if you will, get to know who he is. Hey, Brooks, let's dive back into it real quick. Thank you for holding through the break right there.
Absolutely.
Let's dive back in. Give us a lesson that has shaped you as a leader. Tell us a story.
I'll tell you about when I got to my role that I'm in today, and that was a complicated issue when I got here. I'll tell you, we had not reconciled a bank statement in 2 years. We had not completed an audit in 3 years.
Sounds familiar.
We had turnover amongst staff. We had about 1,800 criminal cases that had not been worked in our police department just because it had not been given the proper attention that it was due. And so those issues didn't pop up overnight. They had been there for a while and had been ignored by people. And there was a good explanation, or what people felt like was a good explanation, to every one of them. But the reality is we had let our public down. And we had to spend a lot of time unwinding those issues. And it took us making really tough decisions. And what I think that taught me more than anything is that turnarounds are not some dramatic thing that happen overnight. They're the result of really intentional and repetitive decisions that you make. Making an announcement that, we're going to fix things. That's the really easy part. Having a commission or a council take a vote, that's the really easy part. But the real work is making sure that the next 100 decisions that you make after that they're done correctly, because people are tired of those problems. And I think people are very frustrated with public service as a whole, because it seems to be becoming a systemic issue across the board. And so I think, what it taught me is leadership means that you have to stay with that issue even after attention has moved on to something else, because those foundational things are really important to the general public. And I think that has taught me that it's more than just saying you're going to fix something. It's more than making things look shiny and pretty. It is really having in place a good set of processes that the public can rely on and know that you're going to repeat time and time again for them.
All right, let's have a little fun here. Step away from the the big questions, but
Sure.
get to know you a little bit. All right, if you didn't work in this field, what path do you think you would have chosen?
Believe it or not, I'd probably be teaching or coaching.
Okay.
And so, I've spent a lot of time around sports. I love it. And so, right now I spend a lot of time standing in front of people telling them what I think, and I get to do the same thing as a coach.
What's your favorite vacation spot?
My favorite vacation spot is South Carolina, the beach in South Carolina. Absolutely love it.
Okay. Underrated right there. Morning person or night owl?
Oh man, I'm a night owl. When it gets quiet at home, and again, that's rare, I get to think, I get to relax a little bit. Absolutely.
What is something people would be surprised to learn about you?
I think that they'd be surprised to figure out, with 5 kids, working full time, teaching, I still had time, or found time, or stayed up late and wrote 4 books.
You wrote 4 books?
I've written 4 books, and if you asked any of my English teachers growing up in school if they thought that I would be the kid that did that, they would have told you absolutely not. They couldn't get me to read a book in school. So yeah, I think most would be surprised.
What are they about?
They are about, most of them are about public service.
Okay.
And so it's one of them, I guess the one that's probably been the most popular, is called Performative Outrage. And it's really just about how in our day and age, there's a lot of manufactured anger and fury out there that seems to be taking over public service and government.
Have some fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have some fun, man. Performative
that's probably
outrage.
my most passionate one. Yeah.
All right. So these are all like works of nonfiction. Then we don't have Lord of the Rings over here with us.
Yeah, no Lord of the Rings. These are for those of us that probably are not interested in public service. If you need to go to sleep, let me know. I'll send you a copy, and this will help you.
All right, a couple more for you real quick. What was your very first job?
I had two very first jobs. So I worked in an ice cream store, which I absolutely despised. If you ask me what's one thing I hope I never have to do, it would be working in an ice cream store. Yeah, I did. I just didn't enjoy it. And then I did that in the evening. And during the day, I actually worked for a copier company back when copiers, faxes, all that were huge things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were about the size of a building, and so I had to deliver them and pick them up and swap them out on our lease programs. And I worked down in Houston, and it was hot and humid. It was in the middle of the summer, and I had a boss that was so strict. We wore complete suit, tie, everything to deliver and pick up our copiers. So it was I sweat all day, every day, stunk, wore out suits like crazy, but I actually liked that more than having to sit in the ice cream store.
Bucket list item you want to accomplish?
I think for me, it's probably visiting Italy. My family wants to do that. Okay. If I could find a way to get all 7 people together around their schedules and find a way to do that, that's my bucket list item.
And lastly, before we get you out of here, thank you for being so generous with your time this morning. Lastly for you, is when do you get started?
August 3rd is when we get to descend upon Baton Rouge. August
3rd. You're going to move here August 3rd. You think you know Sweat?
Oh, no, yeah. I've been visiting, and it's just like Houston in that humidity. It's gonna be a sweaty few days.
He is Brooks Williams, the new superintendent of BREC. Looking forward to future conversations, Dr. Williams. Thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all very much.
Absolutely. Yep. We got less than a minute to go here, Maurice, but I wanted to bring it back in with you just to make sure we recap the highlight, talking about the upcoming meeting for City Brooks Park.
For those that missed it, it'd be good to recap. The City Brooks community meeting is tomorrow at the Independence Theater. Doors open at 5:00. We start at 5:30. Bring your questions. See you there. And if you're not able to attend, catch the streaming that we'll have live on BREC.org.
Yeah, the doors will open at 5. But if you've got something to say and you want to sign up to say it, get there a little bit earlier than that. Correct. I think they'll start forming that line at about 4:30. Yep. But yeah, like Maurice said, BREC.org if you want to just stream it and weren't coming out to it. But that's tomorrow night for City Brooks Park. Going to be another big night on this this discernment process, as it were. Maurice, always appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Man.
Likewise, you, Brian.
Thank you. We got the Moon Griffon show coming up next. We'll be back at it tomorrow. See y'all then. Thank you so much. Oh, Nelly. All right, Facebook. I got a blast. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
As always, thank you.
Thanks. He's going to be fun. He's going to be fun.
He's a hoot.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. He's willing to play along. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. The old adage, play hard, work hard.
Yeah.
He embodies that. Yeah. He's a lot of fun and he knows the stuff.
Well, and there's something to be said about a dude who comes in with 5 kids because everybody relax.
Yeah,
relax.
He understands the chaos.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, 5 kids wrote 4 books, and he was like, oh, I don't do much. He
yeah.
80 hobbies.
Right. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
So wait, Maurice, what are you doing after this? Once he takes over?
We're studying that. I'm going to stick around for at least 3 months. Of transition. And if in that time he wants to keep me, I serve as much. He wants me to just go to transition out. I'll transition out.
The National Weather Service is confirming at least 4
Are you from here?
I'm not originally from here, but I was raised here. I came here when I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been here all my life. This is home.
All right. Yeah. Are you going to be keeping on these?
Yes, we're going to stay for a little while. I want him to come in because I want him to get used to the radio show, and we're going to keep it at least. Brian, we said at least to the end of August, I think.
Yeah, and then we'll reevaluate there. But
I want him to get a good 30 days of him and see what he wants to do there. I'm trying to set up as much as possible for him to come experience it, and then he can, take over shit. That was my job. My job was to standardize as much as possible and then hand it over to him so he wouldn't have to rebuild all that.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Yep.
All right. Do you need this room?
No. Oh, holy hell.
All right, not quite as smooth as Friday, I think, but
Give or take. No, I thought you did great.
thanks.
You had a much bigger role today.
Well, and we had that weird start. I feel like,
Yep.
and also, I'm mostly, I guess, talking about I messed up the bumps a couple of times.
You're all right.
But yeah, it was good.
And pay over $17 to $20 an hour for starting pay. Visit industrymakes.org. Industry Makes. Let others make noise. We make everything else.
We are Jordan Generous from NeuroGen. Jordan, tell me why summertime is time to take a closer look at anxiety and depression.
When you get away from the busyness of life, going to school and going to work every day, and you have a little bit of a break, it's a great time to address the busyness in your brain, right? So your brain is constantly elevated, constantly worried about things, you're feeling stressed. Now's the time to take care of you.
For more, visit neurojust.com. That's neurojust.com.
Do you know how many tax resolution firms have been forced to close because they were taking advantage of people or have gone out of business? It happens all the time. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson of the Bryson Law Firm. As a matter of fact, they're national tax relief companies that are currently under court orders to cease operations. So if you have IRS issues, do not fall for the threats and scare tactics of the national so-called tax relief companies. The Bryson Law Firm has been doing this for decades. We have a AAA BBB rating, and our entire focus is IRS problems and tax liability issues. An IRS problem is a legal problem. Let the Bryson Law Firm help you get relief the right way. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Don't put it off any longer. Call the Bryson Law Firm.